get to that in about 20 minutes or so. We will also, of course, talk a little. It was a Friday night. It was rainy.
Snoozer.
Yeah, it was rainy. It didn't end until very late. There was unfortunately some injuries that happened throughout the game as well. But on Friday afternoon, we got a little more insight onto what the Rashee Rice hearing is all about. And I think it completely debunked the conspiracies that were out there about the Chiefs getting let off the hook by allowing Rice maybe to play the first 4 weeks. And that was the national narrative from some out there that the league is doing this on purpose. Well, listen to what Tom Pelissero had to say on NFL Network, and it clearly shows that, no, this was because the league wanted to come down very hard on Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice pled guilty last month to 2 third-degree felony charges stemming from a car crash at high speeds back in March of 2024. The expectation is Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for a portion of the 2025 season. The question now is how much? My understanding is the NFL initially proposed a lengthy suspension, double-digit games for Rashee Rice. The Players Union and Rashee Rice's attorney and agents argued for a much shorter suspension, in part because there is no precedent for suspending someone for over half the season in a case like this. So as you mentioned, there is a September 30th hearing set before former federal judge Sue L. Robinson, who previously heard the initial Deshaun Watson case several years ago here. But there is still a possibility that the sides could come together and agree to a settlement on a suspension that would allow Rice to be suspended at the start of the season. If not, then he would be eligible for at least those first 3 games. But given the fact that not only the decision-making process, but potential appeals could extend that process into October or November if it goes before Judge Robinson, this is something then that could potentially jeopardize his availability for the postseason. A lot to consider as this case moves forward.
So a ton there from Tom Pelissero. We'll get to the very end there, what he mentioned with postseason in a second. But for starters, this should end any of the theories out there that the Chiefs and the league are colluding on giving them. No. The NFL, you heard it from Pelissero, wants to suspend Rashee Rice for more than 10 games. And he highlighted what Deshaun Watson got, what obviously Justin Tucker got as well. 12 games is absolutely crazy. And that's not me acting like Rashee Rice did not make a terrible mistake and should not have punishment.
And should be suspended.
He absolutely should be suspended, and he will eventually be suspended. But there really is no precedent for him, based on even the charges that he has, no matter how serious they are, for 12 more plus games for a suspension. It is kind of crazy. You can see why the NFLPA and Rashee Rice said, whoa. We're going to go through a process that we have the right to go through via the CBA, which is a disciplinary hearing. So that's why it's September 30th. There is, as he said, a chance that they could still reach a settlement, and all of a sudden...
So they could offer 6 and he takes it?
We find out in a week that he just takes the 6 if the league's willing to go down to 6, and they don't have to wait, and the suspension could still start week 1. Otherwise, doesn't it feel like we could be waiting till November? Because hearing on September 30th, let's say the judge takes 2 weeks. All of a sudden, it's middle of October. Let's say the judge comes back and says 5 games, and the league's like, no, not strong enough.
Which they didn't like with the Deshaun Watson, and then they appealed.
Not strong enough. Then the league could appeal, and all of a sudden, it's November 10th, and then it's a 7-game suspension. All of a sudden, he's suspended on the rest of the regular season.
I gotta say, that had to come as a pretty big shock to Rashee Rice when he sat in the little meeting and they said, all right, Rashee, we've taken a look at the facts of the case and we're thinking 10 games. And he's like, I'm sorry, what now? 10? Because Rashee's right. And the NFLPA, this is the bigger thing. The NFLPA has to fight this for Rashee Rice, not just him. They cannot let the NFL set a precedent of you get into a car accident and look, I get it. He did the things he did. He deserves to be punished, all the stuff. But they can't let them set the precedent of that's a 10-game suspension. Because this goes back to what we said before. Then it does put it on par with Deshaun Watson's suspension. That would be one of the longest suspensions in NFL history. And I understand what he did was wrong and what caused it. But the only difference we're talking about is video, which always changes things, admittedly. And we understand that video constantly gets you in trouble in this case. But it's are you sure that this is the standard you want to set? 10 games? I wonder if this is because they really wanted 6 and thought if they offered 10, maybe they could find a number to do it. because outside of that, I mean, you're just saying it's as bad as any suspension short of, Ray Rice, if you're talking about like what we're looking at in this, because 10 games is crazy. So at this point, they wanted so many. I don't know how I can expect a settlement. I don't know how I can expect the NFL to come down to a number that Rashee Rice is going to accept before Sue L. Robinson hears this on the 28th.
I think it's a slim chance. I won't say it's impossible that there's not a settlement before the date. But yeah, it doesn't look good for that to happen. I am also, though, I think when you have to revise whatever your expectation was for this, or do you think the NFL wouldn't appeal if the judge said it was a 4-game suspension? Because before I'd always said 4 to 6. I kind of find it hard to believe that this isn't going to end up with at least a 6-game suspension now, though. Because let's say
I still think it's the felony charges.
If the league is at 12 and the judge looks and says there's no precedent, maybe she says, no, this is a 4-gamer. The league appeals, then maybe it gets up to 6 that way. Like I still think 6 is where this settles now that we know what we know versus the 4 only. But I guess the question would be, would the NFL appeal if it's only 6? Like, let's say the judge even said it's 6. Would the NFL want to appeal 6? Or is it what's the number where the league wouldn't even try to appeal back? What do you think that number would be? 8?
6.
Okay. You think 6 they wouldn't appeal?
I think it's 6. They're just like, we'll take the 6. Because in the end, as we know from the original, the last case she heard in a hearing was the Deshaun Watson one in a similar, not similar criminal charges, obviously, but that's the last case she heard that had like a lengthy suspension. At that time, the report was the NFL wanted a full year. They wanted 16, 17 games, Gold. They wanted Deshaun Watson to be unavailable. And Deshaun Watson's camp wanted 4, which is pretty laughable considering the circumstances. They met at 10. Sue L., as you remember, was 5 or 6. She was pretty,
difference, though.
She had a light touch, and she still upped it closer to the NFL's number.
I don't know, though, if we go into this and you're like, I don't think you can expect the exact same result, though, because it's the judge that was more lenient on Watson, because they are 2 different cases. I understand. This is what I've repeated this throughout the Rashee Rice thing. I understand we get into this weird like moral argument of like what's worse, what's not worse. Despite the names and what Deshaun Watson allegedly has done and Justin Tucker, neither of those guys got criminally charged. Okay. I'm definitely not saying that it's okay with what they were allegedly doing, but they were not criminally charged. So does the judge eventually look at the Rice situation differently and say, yes, there's no precedent, but I also do have 2 felony charges to lean into and say that's why a stiffer punishment does make sense. So yes, I agree with all of us. Anytime people are like, well, they only did 11 games for Watson.
Was a misdemeanor.
11 games for Watson. How can it be 12 for Rice? And I tend to agree with that. But the reason why we can't just assume this same judge is going to be lenient is because this time she can say, well, I have felony charges versus Watson and even Tucker. There were no criminal charges or let alone pleading guilty.
So you're saying that it could be 8 and that's just what it's bumped from 10 to 8?
But if it's 8 November 1st or October 1st, you're talking about missing every game before, like 2 games before the playoffs. This is kind of a nightmare for Kansas City. This goes back to the original thing, which is if it's going to be 8, you'd rather be the first 8 because weeks 7 through 15 stink. That's not a great time to be without your starting wide receiver, get your feet wet, get your offense rolling, then reinvent your offense, similar to how you had to do last year. Now, in this case, it is like just suffering a long injury, and I'm not saying those things don't occur, but for this case, for a healthy player to go with it, it should be more than 3. The truth is, Addison's case, because he's lucky enough that he didn't injure anybody or walk away from a scene, is a misdemeanor that he pled down to. Felony should probably equal more games than a misdemeanor.
I don't think. I mean, you haven't either.
The results of your actions also matter. Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't think even from the beginning, neither one of us thought he should get the same punishment as Jordan Addison. I think it should obviously be more than Jordan Addison. I always thought 4 to 6. Now seeing where the NFL is at, again, I think 6 to 8 is my updated range of suspension. I still think above 10 is a bit strong, but I understand. I based on what I said, I understand why the NFL can view it differently than even the Deshaun Watson situation, despite the PR backlash they were facing, and they've faced more backlash for that than they have at any point for the Rice stuff. But we are talking about still pleading guilty to 2 felonies and eventually serving 30 days of jail time at some point in the next 5 years.
I'm guessing that's why the NFL wanted to hammer him. And maybe they're trying to make this corrective behavior, but they're not the first player to get busted driving super fast. Now, he drove super fast and then didn't control his car.
I mean,
and then left the scene of the accident.
But he is, though. I mean, like, he is the first. I mean, other than the worst of all cases, which cost someone their life, Henry Ruggs, that's why he's in prison. This is the only other player I can think of that was speeding at the speed he was, that got caught on camera leaving the scene of an accident, did cause some bodily harm to people involved, and is going to have to serve jail time. Like, this is a unique circumstance.
It totally is. We said that from the beginning. What's really difficult is, like, if you're Robinson and you're trying to make the decision on these suspensions, how do you parse? All three parties are driving 140 miles an hour. Let's just say 125 miles an hour. Addison, Ruggs, and Rice. One kills a person. That's pretty obvious. That person's going to go to jail for a very long time and not play in the NFL anymore. One was driving 140 miles an hour and was fortunate enough not to hurt anybody. One was driving 125 miles an hour and did hurt somebody and crashed their car. So if you and I both drive 140 miles an hour in the car, there are different criminal punishments to go with it, right? If I'm just speeding, I'm in trouble for going 125, 140 miles an hour. But if I don't cause an accident, I don't also have all the criminal stuff that comes with causing an accident and hurting people. How do you parse that out in an NFL game perspective? That's unknown.
Yeah.
The NFL decided hammer them. They decided it was tantamount to triple the punishment to get in the accident. And I feel like if you're an outside arbiter, that's going to feel higher. You both did the action. One person's action ended up, the dangerous activity caused a more dangerous thing. That's why he's in more trouble legally. Double? 6 enough? 8 enough? Like, I don't know you asked me what the NFL would agree to. What do you think Rice would sign on the dotted line today? NFL came to him and they said 6 games.
6.
Does he just sign the paper?
I think anything more than
I
6,
think so too.
and he wants to go through the disciplinary hearing. I don't know it to be a fact, but that's my guess on it. Someone else mentioning, like, and this is a scenario that, like, we see anytime we talk about NFL punishments, and there's still the simple reality that they are not handled the same way as you and I. Like, so, like, this text, I understand the text, but to me, it's not relevant. Someone texted in and said, guys, I'd be fired from my job if I did what Rice did. Right. Yeah. But again, we don't have this. It's just a different world. It's just a different world. They are the 1% of the 1% of what they do. And people also, in their case, have a union behind them. They have collectively bargained a process for punishment. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that are also part of a union and have more rights to bargain and stuff. But majority of people are not part of a union, and so yeah, like if Cody and I did this exact same thing, no kidding, we would be fired, obviously.
Have you gone to jail for a lot more than 30 days?
It wouldn't be just 30 days behind bars either. Yes,
and
that's just also like we could go for years of athletes and celebrities. It is treated differently. But he also, from an employment perspective, he's part of a union. He has the right to do. He collectively bargained for this. This is their opportunity that they have. Their employer has allowed an agreement for this to happen.
And then people mentioned Jalen Carter, who obviously was involved in a crash that eventually killed 2 people when they were racing, and he was driving over 100 miles an hour in one of the vehicles before he was in the NFL. If he was in the NFL, we would have had a precedent for Rashee. The truth is, we might have had a precedent for Rashee Rice's, or maybe he would have been suspended for a year. We don't know. And the circumstances around, like, he was not intoxicated, I think, at the time of the crash, Jalen Carter's reportedly. I think the person he was racing was at the time. And, like, he wasn't in the league. And so, like, it is a messy situation. I'm not pretending like it's an easy, like, just decide a number of games. The NFL knows whatever number of games is decided on this is now the number of games they suspend people for. I think that's why they're taking it so serious on this one.
I also think
if this exact circumstances occurs again, they want to make sure it's a serious deterrent.
Yeah, and I think, as someone pointed out on the text line, and we've brought this up a few times in the past, like the Henry Ruggs situation being the worst of worst cases, literally somebody lost their life, and obviously that's why Henry Ruggs is behind bars. That, to me, is also why the NFL is looking for a stiffer punishment for this. Another strong, deterrent shouldn't even need this for it to be a deterrent, not to do something like this, but you get what I'm saying. Like, the NFL probably once again wants to make sure that it is very clear of not only can you cost someone their life, but here's the consequences for your career if you put yourself in a spot and put somebody else in the same spot. So this won't be the last time we talk about this. Obviously now we could be waiting until September 30th. Maybe there's a slim chance of a settlement before then, but as of right now, Rashee Rice is playing week 1, as of right this second on August 18th.
Meanwhile, on the baseball field, a team who's playing meaningful baseball games versus the preseason games we've been watching for the Chiefs did what we asked. We said 9 games you got against bad baseball teams. The bare minimum requirement of success for this stretch is 6-3. You want to stay in the hunt? Go 6-3. Well, Gold, that's exactly what they did. They went 6-3. And so what they get is, in my opinion, is a reprieve of a team that is playing, again, since the All-Star break or since they've made these trades, some pretty decent baseball. Are they too far behind the 8 ball to actually catch up the games needed? Maybe. They're still 4 games back. They felt like they've been 4 games back of a wild card spot for the better part of 2 months. I will say they were 4, 6, and 7 games back at one point of the 3 wild card teams, and now they're 4, 4.5, and 4.5. So they made up ground on 2 of the teams who were above them. They put the Texas Rangers, who they're getting ready to start a series at Kauffman tonight, in their rear view for now. And they didn't lose any ground against these teams. I've been pleasantly surprised with how they're playing. Honestly, the difference it has made for them to have qualified hitters in the back part of the lineup has been tremendous for the, plus Salvi, Bobby, and Vinny have all been hitting well. So that stuff goes a long way, and they've still been pitching okay. So yeah, you get to survive another day. Now, do you want me to give you a benchmark for where you got to do the next 6 games? Because I can, but they did what we asked. And also, I feel like the Cam Devaney truthers have been a little quiet lately since Adam Frazier's
Could you imagine what that
Adam Frazier's
homestand
been good the entire time he's been here.
Could you imagine what the 9-game stretch would have been like if they had Cam Devaney instead? Like they'd have been 9-0. Instead of 6-3, they might have been undefeated. Yeah, that's what's crazy about it. Not Adam Frazier, who's
They'd have been
hitting
right there
very,
with
very
the
well.
Yankees,
Adam Frazier's
guys.
been one of their best hitters the last 3 weeks. Anyway.
He's hitting like 330.
Yes, he is. Good for him. Very happy to see that. There were people so upset with us that day. Oh, how could you guys say it was an okay move? How could you say it's a nothing burger? How turned out actually to be much more than a nothing burger. It's been a very, very big positive. What's Cam Devaney doing these days? Is he still in the minors for the Pirates, or does he get called up?
He has not been called up. I did look.
Oh, I thought he was so good, though. Clearly he should have been called up.
I did look. And the Pirates, I mean,
They stink.
Room. They got room to take a chance on a player. So
You're saying Cam's still in Indianapolis right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is never like about him. He's just
what's their AAA team? The Clowns?
You used to be the Clowns. It's the Indians.
Oh, dang. Ooh.
Yeah, baseball team.
Wait, excuse me?
Hang on. I had you guys look up the I had you guys look up
We
Rowdy
did.
the
We
mascot.
did. We did.
Yes,
That's true.
Yes, very.
They should go back to the Clowns instead. At least show some respect for the Negro Leagues baseball, and the heritage beyond it. But anyway, I have been, honestly, the Royals are playing exactly, right now, they are playing exactly like the team I thought they were going to the year. Scrappy, good fight, good pitching, just enough offense to win some baseball game, and bring me a little clutch hitting. Just bring me, Vinny's got some of the best RBI numbers in the league after the 7th inning. Just give me a little bit of clutch hitting. Like yesterday was a perfect example of that. They could not hit for 6 innings in a baseball game, and then they just started going bombs away for a couple of innings and got to run away with a sweep.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, I agree with you with where they're at. The fact they went 6-3 during this stretch, it keeps them in it. They did the minimums of what we thought they needed to do during the 9-game stretch, and that was at minimum go 6-3. And they salvaged it by sweeping the Chicago White Sox, something that they desperately needed to do. The White Sox haven't won in Kansas City in 14 games, I believe, going back to last season as well. So you keep the bad team bad and keep the bad team down, however you want to phrase it. And that's what the Royals were able to do. All right, well, now you live to fight another day. Here comes another 7-game stretch. Games against the Rangers, games against the Tigers.
Go at least 4-3 during those.
I think over the next 10 or 11 games, they play just the Tigers and the Rangers. Because they play the Rangers.
And the White Sox are in there somewhere.
Sorry, the White Sox. That's what I'm thinking. It's the same grouping of teams basically over the next 2 weeks that they're going to play on a rotation. And so the same thing. Break it down another 7-game chunk. What do they have to do during that? At minimum, 4-3. At minimum. Obviously, you would love 5-2, but 4-3. Luckily, the Rangers are not playing quite as good a baseball. You pass them in the wild card standings now. But this is the game that they have to play to stay alive. Can we get to September and we're having the same conversation? Here's another 5-game stretch. Got to have a winning stretch of 5. That's what this past 7 games did, or 9 games did, excuse me. It allowed them to stay alive, to still make you believe a little bit that they can figure this thing out. And I also think someone that probably does deserve some credit, 2 people that deserve credit during the stretch. Berger continues to pitch very, very well, looks very promising for the future.
Another
we're going to talk about Noah Cameron later. He continues to have an unbelievable year. And then since moving down on the order,
Jonathan India.
He's come up with some big-time hits in big moments.
Power stroke.
In big moments. Of course, the home run yesterday they needed. They were down 2-0, right, at the time. Jonathan India was able to come up with a massive hit. He deserves some credit. He's got 3 home runs and 9 RBI, 8 RBI since the switch.
Good. Hey, look, if you find your spot in the lineup that works, fine with me. Obviously, Yaz had that 1 for 25 stretch, but he was still getting on base and scoring some runs. And we've seen, look, they have a qualified major league lineup. And that was honestly a huge chunk of their issue for a good chunk of the season. MJ Melendez and Jack Caglione, who we'll talk about here in a little bit, weren't giving them major league at-bats in the bottom part of the order. And as a result of that, they couldn't make up enough of a difference in the top part of the order, and they couldn't hang on. I'm most impressed by their ability to continue to pitch. They have done. Lugo spent a week and a half or 2 weeks on the IL, and Cole Reagan's, I don't even, was it June? What was the last month he pitched in? Because he missed time, came back, and then pretty immediately went back on the IL.
Yeah, it was either the first week of July or late June. I can't remember.
And then was immediately back on the injured list and hasn't come off it. Their pitching is what's kept them alive. Now, not going to pretend like the rest of this month isn't going to tell it. I wouldn't even break it down like Gold, you said, to the next 7 games, 4-3. Because what we know is by September 1st, you're going to need to be a certain position in the standings. And you've got 6 against the team who has one of the better records in the American League against the Tigers. You got 3 more against a laughingstock of a baseball team in the White Sox who you just swept. And then 4 against the Rangers, a team who is in the same camp as you a good chunk of the year, but playing worse. And so I think for these next, how many games that add up to? 7, 10, 13 games to wrap up the rest. 7-6 isn't going to get it done. We're right back to the same thing. Give me 8-5, and I will continue to discuss you as a playoff team who deserves a chance in September. The good news is that it's August 18th.
When they're 2 above 500.
And despite their struggles, they've not played themselves out of the playoffs. They got a long way to go. And I'll tell you why, why I think Cags could help that here in just a little bit. But they got a long way to go. But at least on August 18th, they're still in it.
We will get back, as you said, into the Royals, talking about Noah Cameron and also Jack Caglione, who is down in Omaha, of course, on a rehab stint. He continues to do what he did prior to being called up to the big league club all the way back in June, and that is rake at the AAA level. I sent you a text, though, Cody, on Friday night. I'm pulling it up. You did.
You said, don't let me forget about this on Monday. That was the exact text he sent me, Drew.
I said,
wait, what was it?
Drew doesn't know this. He now is starting to get nervous. But
I do not. No, I think I know what you're talking about.
I said, I basically screenshotted an Instagram story, and I said, Cody, so we don't forget Monday. And here we are. It's Monday at 10:24. It's not up anymore. This is why I needed it screenshot.
Oh, it was
a story. It is Drew, clearly in a gym, sitting on a bench, green tank top, over-the-ear headphones, and it just says caption, "Let's begin."
He's listening to some J. Cole, it looks like.
I'm holding it up, by the way.
Is that right?
Video,
Is Hunting
on the
Rabbit's
video
J. Cole?
stream.
Yes, I was
Here you
listening
go,
to
video
J. Cole.
stream. Here's the photo.
Here's the problem, Drew. Here's the
This
only.
is the 4th photo selfie in the gym. Now, what are you posting gym selfies for?
Because
You're not even flexing. You're just sitting on a bench. Let's begin. You hadn't even. It's not even post workout. Where
I'm not supposed to flex when I haven't started yet. I'm saying let's begin. I'm not going to post another one until we have something there.
I'm just like, what did your wife say about this photo? I still can't get over this.
She doesn't have a problem with it.
Okay. If she doesn't care, then
Dusty
it doesn't
didn't
matter.
have a problem with it. He goes, man. He basically suggested that I wear some longer shorts, is what he was saying. I was like, I
wasn't paying that much attention there.
Dusty's always looking at the shorts.
He is.
Dusty's got a real problem checking on everyone's shorts area.
No, that's what I told him.
Upper thigh
have
and
a real issue.
Somewhere between upper thigh and waist. Dusty spends a lot of time looking at other people.
There's definitely a lot of comments over the last 6 months about other people's thigh area from Dusty.
I think the thing that stands out to me is the photos on a weight bench, and in this photo in particular, you look kind of scrawny. So it doesn't. I'm just saying you look kind of scrawny for a guy taking a photo on the weight bench.
But again, I am. This is part of if I have to be comfortable in my own skin. I know that I'm
That's
skinny.
good. That's good.
I know that I am very skinny. I know that I'm scrawny, to use Cody's word. But we're trying to get better in that area.
You're trying to get swole.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get swole. I'm absolutely not. Can you imagine? No, I don't think. I know we got to go to break. I can't imagine myself 5'11", 180. No. Please, no. I don't think you want to see it. I don't think anybody wants to see me 5'11", 180. No.
Just ripped.
No.
I had to send that photo to Cody because I was like, oh, here we go again. Is this going to be a new thing? We're going to see like a weekly Drew workout video and
no,
stuff?
we're not. No, I was just letting people know, I was encouraging people a little bit. Let's get into the gym a little bit. Let's get going. Let's exercise a little bit.
The tank top, too. That's a bold move.
I'm unashamed to wear a tank top.
That's a bold move, I'll be honest.
I used to be very aware of my surroundings and would not wear tank tops out in public, but now I wear tank tops all the time. Like if I'm going shopping, I'll pop a singlet on and I'll go shopping in a singlet. Which is what I was wearing in that photo. I was wearing an Under Armour singlet.
Okay. All right.
Cross-country singlet.
Up next, let's get to an idea that the commissioner of baseball had. I think we all love it. We'll tell you what that is. And yes, we'll talk about what Jack Caglione is doing in AAA.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5. The Fan.
You guys know we are glad that our training camp coverage is over for this year. We'll be excited by the time we get back there next year. But you know why they call it training camp, Cody? Because, they don't just talk about it. They train to do the exact job skills that they need, and that's the same thing for Centric.
Not physically train like Drew. Train your brain in as little as 4 months. That's how quickly you can get your career in IT. Centric's been training grads in Kansas City for years, getting them ready. They love getting new people in new careers, love getting people, think about it. You're sitting outside on Saturday. Imagine if you were working in that on Saturday. Get that career in IT in as many fields as you want, because it's not just one field. You can work across the board.
Yeah, they train you on the exact job skills you'll need to be a cybersecurity specialist over at Centric. They do it in just 4 months, not 4 years. Get started today, and you can be on your new career path before the playoffs even start. How about that? Reach out to our friend Russ. Go to Centric.com.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit mainstreetcu.org to get started.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. I thought it would be good to share just a bit about us. My wife, Emily, and I started the company in 2012. We are local, family owned and operated, middle-sized company. Our industry seems to overpromise and underdeliver. We don't work that way. We have natural limitations, but we do what we say we will, which is enough. We would love to win you over. Call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh, no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get a bottle of Seafoam motor treatment for just $8.99 and receive 5 times O Rewards points with the purchase at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Just getting started here on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you.
I like that you wore the CAG shirt today. I went with it last Friday. Maybe a little ahead.
Gold did not copy Dusty for anything.
No, he copied his shirt.
No.
Saw Dusty was wearing it at 6 in the morning on the video stream. Threw it on. Matched him.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. That's definitely what happened. No, I opened.
Did you get on the video stream? See, you had the CAG shirt on?
I did not.
Good looking shirt.
I did not. No,
It is a good looking shirt.
I opened my closet door and I saw today was a t-shirt day. I didn't want to wear any polos. I'll save those for Vegas. And I said, let's wear a t-shirt. And I was like, well, we wore the 96.5 The Fan ones plenty recently for camp. And I hadn't worn the CAG shirt in a bit.
I don't know if there's I don't know. I think Dusty might have. Do you have a beef with Dusty, Cody?
It sounds like there's definitely some problems going on right now.
Dusty did not mention anything about Gold wearing the shirt today.
Well, because he did say something. He said, nice shirt.
Oh, okay.
And I said, you too.
Almost as a paid compliment.
I was going to say, instead of him saying he copied him, you know? Yeah.
I'm just saying, why can't he be accused of copying the way I've been
Gold fired
accused
the
of
stream
copying?
up, and before he left, he saw Dusty was wearing the
I
khaki.
actually-
He was like, you know what? Let me actually.
That's what it was. I
conspiracy.
actually was leaving my apartment, walking into my car. I pulled up the stream. I saw Dusty was wearing the CAG shirt. I ran back in and I put on the CAG shirt. That's exactly what I did.
About 5 minutes later than normal
No, I
today.
had to run to the post office. Oh, real quick. A quick story about that.
Oh, the
real quick.
post office?
I know. So, real quick. Very quick story.
Like 90? Well, Gold had to stop by the old post office.
I had a print. So I sell cards. You guys
Yeah.
know this, sports cards and stuff. And you do have to ship them, it turns out, to get them to people.
yeah. I don't know
And
how it
so
works.
I don't have one of those thermal printers. And so if it's like a priority mail or whatever, I need to print like a real label. And so you go in there, you can scan the QR code on their little kiosk and you slap
Yeah,
it
I
on.
print the label,
Well,
sure.
normally I don't have to go to the counter because I just print the label and I put in the little drop thing, But they don't officially open till 8:30. And there's the post office right. I mean, it's the one right over here. And so normally, like, if you walk in at 8:20, you can print the label, and I could. And normally, you can still use the little drop thing. They had it locked still. And then I went over there to the counter. I said, "Hey, the thing's dropped. This time it's 8:30. The thing's dropped." They're like, "You can just drop that over there." I go, "Yeah, it's locked." The lady acted like I was crazy. I'm like, she's like, she's like, "Well, just set it on the counter at the end," as if I should know the protocol to set it on the counter. I don't know.
Also,
It
I'm
was
just leaving mail for anybody to take?
I know. So anyway, that's
exactly.
why
Hell
why
no.
I was here at 8:35, not 8:30, is because I was
not matching Dusty.
I was in the post office.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Over in baseball, we're going to talk about Jack Caglione coming up in about 5 minutes. See if we've been pushing it too hard, we'll see, or when we expect him up based on his recent AAA numbers. But Rob Manfred, I believe you got the audio over there, Gold. He was on a broadcast.
Yep.
And he was talking a little bit about a radical idea he was thinking about for the future of baseball.
In my mind, I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
So that was, of course, during the Little League World Series, and the cool thing that baseball has done over the last couple of years, where they, so last night, Sunday Night Baseball, Mariners, Mets, right there in Pennsylvania with the kids in the stands. It was awesome. It was pretty cool, especially when Soto's a fan favorite, obviously, for kids. They wanted him to do the Soto Shuffle, and he did an extra one late in the batter's box just for the kids out there. But back to the actual reason why we played the piece of audio, the idea of having realignment in baseball and thinking about an AL Central or NL Central, whatever you want to call it, where the Royals and the Cardinals and the Cubs and the White Sox and pick another team as well are all part of one division. That'd be fun. That'd be very tough, but it'd be fun.
At a time in which college football's single biggest mistake, in my opinion, is getting rid of regional-based rivalries, this would be genius by baseball, and I would love it. The biggest problem you'll have, admittedly, is the part of the country before you get to the Royals and the Texas teams are getting a little bit screwed in the regional-based rivalry stuff. Because I think it's fairly obvious. You'd have a 5-team division of the Mariners, A's, Giants, Dodgers, and Padres. Then, because you're like, oh, we got one too many, because notice I did not mention the Angels. Well, so what? Angels get lumped in with Angels, maybe you take it back. Angels get to be in. Then A's, Arizona, Colorado, and the 2 Texas teams. There's my other 5-team division. Then it's Royals, Cardinals, White Sox, Cubs, and Brewers, or either Brewers or Twins. Twins probably geographically a little bit further than Brewers or close to it, but also the Brewers are closer to some of the other teams like the Tigers, the Guardians, and the Reds. So when you start talking about that sounds awesome. If you're telling me that a fourth of their schedule or a third of their schedule is against the Cardinals and the White Sox and the Cubs, yeah, I'm on board. Why would that be more interesting? You want fans who can watch baseball in a similar time slot, enjoy it in a similar time slot, get me way less West Coast games just across the board, and then give me drivable cities for any team the Royals are going to play, I'm in. I'm 100% in.
It also, like, the rivalry with the Cardinals obviously is good, but it sparks it up even more where you're playing them more often. Like,
if it's a divisional race,
and the Royals is relatively regional.
It becomes a much bigger rivalry than it already is, I think.
For sure.
Look,
I think it becomes, from a competitive standpoint, very challenging. I mean, it's a tougher division than what they're currently in. It just is.
Cardinals, Sox, Cubs, Twins, let's call it.
Yeah. I mean, two Chicago teams. I know one spins like a big league club more than the other, but two Chicago teams. The Cardinals, obviously, for their market size, it's a bigger city than Kansas City. They aren't right this second, but they typically spend a pretty good amount of money on payroll. The Cardinals are still in a playoff race. They made a little push here recently, too, on the outside for a wild card. It would be so great for a travel standpoint for fans. You want to spend a weekend going to see the Royals on the road. Now you would have so many more opportunities to do that versus every couple of years. I know now it's a little bit easier with the way they've adjusted interleague play and everything. It's not really interleague play anymore. But you would be able to go to a Cubs game at Wrigley every year. It wouldn't even be a problem. Like every year you would know you have an opportunity.
6-7 games there every year. And again, I understand that like the Royals are one of the few teams and divisions in which it is regional. And I feel like their division kind of dislikes each other. Like I think it kind of works because nobody's terribly far. What, the Guardians probably the furthest in their division as far as like geographically?
I mean right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would say. I don't know what the exact. Yeah, Detroit's a little bit up there too.
I think Cleveland's a little further east. Yeah. If I'm remembering right. And so the bigger problem is what do you do about the East Coast teams? Do you put both New York teams in the same division? Do you put both LA teams in the same division? I think it'd be,
Subway Series, Yankees, Red Sox.
Yankees, Mets. The Yankees would get a huge advantage.
Yankees, Mets, and Red Sox.
They wouldn't have to leave the city.
Yankees, Mets, Red Sox all in Yankees, Mets, Red Sox all in one division.
Philly, and then the Blue Jays probably. Ooh. I mean, and again, regional rivalries make sense in sports. Unless football's the only one that seemingly gets away with it. You never think about the Chargers being in LA because it's football.
For this to work, though, this also requires expansion. So this would require Major League Baseball adding a team in Nashville and in Montreal or in Portland or something like that. In order to do this divisional breakdown, you would need to do some expansion, I think, to at least to Nashville or Montreal. We know the Rays are staying. I guess you don't have to, but we know the Rays are staying with the new ownership. They already said they actually are going to stay in the St. Petersburg, Tampa area, despite everybody's speculation.
Because those are the teams are not factoring in is who's getting added. Yeah,
I guess that division is the Rays, the Braves, the Marlins, and
then the Nashville team.
The Nashville team,
and then DC maybe.
Yeah, you probably grab either the O's or the Nationals as your additional team.
You got to have the Nationals and Orioles in the same division in this hypothetical. Yeah. That's way. They have to be in the same division. So who do you steal?
The Reds?
I don't know, but Nationals and Orioles, if you realign divisions, absolutely should be in the same division. I mean, they're right there in the DMV.
I mean, if they had an expansion in Portland, you have Mariners, Portland, San Francisco, Padres, Dodgers.
Dodgers, Angels, same thing. I think if you're in the same city, maybe you keep in the same division. But you could lump in the A's, Diamondbacks, Vegas, Rockies, like any of those.
Houston,
the Rockies
Rangers.
And the Texas teams are really the no man's land teams.
Yeah, someone's like, if they go to 32, then you just do the simple four team divisions. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in that case, I guess the Royals Central, though, would be Royals, St. Louis, and then both Chicago teams, and that's it.
That sounds...
So you wouldn't even have Milwaukee. It would just be the Royals, Cardinals, and both Chicago teams.
Is that a harder division?
Yes.
You get the Cubs aren't huge. Like they're a big market team, but they've never been more recently. They spend in bunches.
I think it's a much tougher.
It depends on when they want to spend.
Yeah. I think it's a tougher division. Yes.
Cardinals are a better run organization, but it's not like the Twins and the Guardians, and haven't had a lot of success in the time the Royals have been in their division together. It would be weird. The I-70 series being. Not we play 2 there, you play 2 here, but instead being 13 times a year.
Now, I don't like this one as much. Someone says if they wanted to go north and south instead of west to east, someone says, well, then it could be Royals, Cards, and then Rangers, Astros. That's actually, but that's not as fun. That's not as fun. That's not as fun from the rivalry perspective.
Yeah. The Texas team are stuck in no man's land for a regional rivalry. Other than them being a division together, there is no natural one. They're either getting the Diamondbacks, or they're getting getting the Braves, or they're getting some of the teams up north.
In Chicago, if they were having the same conversation today, do you think they're intrigued by the idea of a division with Chicago and Chicago, Cardinals and Royals?
Probably not.
I think they'd think that they'd have a better chance of winning that division.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think
I would agree, by the way. Like, I think it would be a very difficult division consistently to compete in. Now, the argument would be like the Royals haven't over decades necessarily been all that, consistently competitive in the current division. So,
in fairness, I mean, what are they competing against now? It's only really been the Cardinals in the NL Central this entire time they've been fighting with. The rest of the teams, the Brewers.
The Brewers have been, they just have no postseason success.
The Brewers are great this year.
Well, the Brewers,
this year,
been good,
but they haven't won anything.
The Brewers have been actually very, very competitive. They just stink in the postseason. They've had some really good regular seasons.
The Reds and the Pirates have been jokes. For the
correct. Yeah,
if
the
they were talking
Pirates
about,
I don't know if they'll ever be good. The Pirates, they had the one playoff wild card game like within the last 8 years, and I understand like the Royals haven't been in the playoffs all that much, but the Pirates are an absolute joke of a franchise.
If we're talking about like driving distance, Chicago would probably rather have Milwaukee and
I agree.
either Minnesota or Detroit, I guess.
But it's more crowded in the east. The further east you go, the more crowded it is, right?
Yeah.
Like Blue Jays, Yankees, Mets. It feels like they've all got to kind of be together. Boston.
Ooh,
then maybe Philly.
What would it look like?
Someone says they should just do 8-team divisions and shrink it down. Ooh.
Hey. To 4 divisions of 8 teams?
4 of 8 instead of 4 team divisions.
Then you really get into the Royals, Cardinals,
ALNL,
Brewers, Twins, Chicago teams.
Or 16-16,
So then you're really just saying the divisions don't matter that much. It's like the NBA more on that point. Like where the divisions themselves really don't mean as much.
They do not matter.
It's just going to be a conference thing. It's going to just become like the NBA. It's just a conference thing. Like
it's an excuse to create regional rivalries.
Yeah.
What sport has that left? College football used to have it, and it was great, and they got rid of it.
I think the NFL.
So what sport has it left?
The NFL to a degree.
Not in Kansas City's case, they don't play anybody anywhere near their dam.
I mean,
Denver's
Denver.
the closest, and they're 8.5 hours away.
I know, but I still think the AFC, like the NFL, still division by AFC North Steelers rivalry with Baltimore and stuff. That's still pretty damn good. The Chiefs and Raiders, despite I understand.
I'm saying regional. They've got rivalries. They don't need the regional part.
Yeah, the NFL doesn't need it because you're playing one game a week.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like
Bears,
if you want to go see the Chiefs play the Broncos, you've got plenty of time to plan that trip, and you've got. It's going to be most cases on a Sunday. I know this gets into the flex scheduling stuff, which is going to become, I think, more of a storyline later in the year. Now that they're allowed to flex in a shorter time frame, I think it's going to screw over some fans. But that's a conversation we'll get to.
Someone suggested they should do this in the NFL. What the heck would that look like?
Say that again?
Regional rivalries in the NFL?
No, if they realign the divisions in the NFL around the regional aspect of it.
Well, then the Chiefs and Bears would be in the same division.
Yeah,
probably.
Chiefs, Bears, Vikings, and
it'd be Broncos.
Colts, or no?
It'd be Broncos.
Cowboys? You get like the Texas teams?
Because you would have, it would probably be Lions,
Green Bay?
Lions, Browns, Colts, Bengals, probably in a 14 division. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Miami Dolphins, Falcons, and Panthers?
I mean, Seattle, 49ers, Rams, Chargers.
Are we sure, though, it's that way? I mean, it could be Denver. Like, Denver could be up there in that Northwest.
I guess. I think Denver would get lumped in with Arizona and Texas teams.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's where Denver would end.
And then it would be what?
Chiefs? And Kansas City be very
Chiefs,
fringe.
Packers, Vikings, Bears?
Chiefs, Vikings, Packers. They would just join the NFC North.
Yeah, and just kick the Lions out
the
the
Titans or something. Yeah. Or the Colts. They would just join the NFC North, essentially, would be the Chiefs. I don't like it nearly as much for football. Football rivalries
for
exist.
the NFL, it would feel very weird if the NFL decided to do this.
The Chiefs and the Bengals, the Chiefs and the Bills are big rivals because teams are good. NFL is good at rivalries based on we're good. We face each other. We're good. They come and go. They live or die. If you were born in 1992, like Alex, 91?
91.
If you were born in 1991 like Alex, you hate the Raiders. If you were born in the year 2000, you might hate the Chargers. If you were born, like, it just
2010s,
depends.
it's the Broncos. Yeah,
for sure.
Depending on when you were born, your rivalry in the division is based on which team was good, not the region. Baseball could use a region because for the most part, the only baseball team you care about is yours. You don't know what's going on with the other teams.
You definitely don't care about the Angels or a West Coast team.
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
This is also why the NFL is king. I mean, you can be the biggest star in your sport and be in Kansas City. You don't have to be in New York. I mean, that's what's great about the NFL.
And I think to your guys' point about it, if let's say when the Patriots were good, if they were playing the Rams in LA, you're going to stay up late to watch that game because it's the NFL and everything like that. Where if it's the Mets and the Angels, I'm not staying up
if
to
I'm
watch.
a Mets fan?
Yeah, I'm not staying up to watch that game. I'll see what happens later, where it's just a different product and fans consume it differently.
Get more games. Let's talk a little bit about the Royals on the field for just a minute. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk about a different idea that's pretty radical in college football this time instead of the other. But Jack Caglione has now made 5 AAA rehab starts. In those 5 starts, he is 11 for 20, so he's hitting .550, 2 home runs, 4 doubles, 4 ribbies, 2 walks, and 7 runs scored. I think we can all say, going pretty good. I have long since, there's 2 things that stand out to me in this argument, then we can talk about what the Royals should do with them. I do not understand the overwhelming negativity on social media and on the text line that Jack Caglione can't play after 40 games. Makes no sense to me. This is part of the reason I've been advocating so much for him getting called back up, because I kind of want him to just prove everyone wrong, because I think it's silly that people have buried him. Now let's get to the real part, which is what should the Royals do? Because in a lineup in which John Rave and Nick Lofton are still playing pretty regularly, I think there's room for Cags. But in a team that does not currently actively need a right fielder, because Yaz has been doing a pretty good job at that, and Frazier's been doing a good job since joining the team, I understand the difficulty of, do you call him up now? Do you just leave him in the minors until September 1st when you go expanded rosters and deal with it? Because the confidence thing, throw that argument out the damn window. That's done, Gold.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the issue right now for him. We all know he did struggle at the big league level, and I don't think 40 games should make or break anybody's career unless there is something that they clearly think he has to work on, that they believe he can only do at AAA level. Then it doesn't make any sense to me. But listening to what Q had to say, I'm going to play the bit of audio in a second from this weekend. It sounds like a team that is definitely in no rush to call him up. And it sounds like a team that, unless there's an injury, is going to wait till September 1st to make the move. This was Q, I think this was yesterday, if not Saturday.
He's going to continue to play there. You know, the team dynamic here has changed since he got hurt. He's going to have to keep playing, and when something opens up, he's certainly in consideration to come back. Great, yeah, he's been running the bases well. I think he's scheduled to play first base tonight, so just getting him exposed to all game situations.
When something opens up, somebody's got to get hurt. Otherwise, I think they're going to wait till September 1st. It means he's going to be down there for another 10, 14 days.
I think what's happening here is pretty simple. I don't think that this is about the confidence Cags or any outside of this. I think what's happened is the team has gelled, and they are very confident in what they are doing as an entire big league club. They like where Frazier fits. They like where Lofton fits. They like where Yaz fits. They understand their order and their manipulations. Like, I think they've gelled in a way, both from like a people standpoint and from a play standpoint, that they don't want to upset the apple cart and throw things off. I think when you're 4 games back, my biggest reason why I would call Cags up sooner is when you are 4 games back and you've made it hard for yourself to make a playoffs, the single best chance I think you have to do it is if Cags just gets up and gets hot. And if you just catch lightning in a bottle and he comes up and he starts putting the ball over the fence and you get that kind of bat in your order, I think making up the games becomes easier.
Yeah, look,
that's
I don't think you and I a couple weeks ago disagreed on this a little bit. In general, yeah, he should be called up. I said, I'm fine if he gets called up and he's not promised an everyday spot on the lineup. I'm fine with that. That makes sense to me based on how Yastrzemski and some other guys have played at times. But with all respect to John Rave, it's not like John Rave's up here just killing it. It's like, oh my gosh, we can't keep him out of the lineup. Like, that to me is not happening. I agree with you on the chemistry of the team and the clubhouse. Clearly the vibes are very good right now. And that doesn't mean that Cags is not a good teammate at all. That's not what they're saying.
No, it just means like everything's fitting and the parts are working right now.
Exactly. Yes. But I don't think it makes sense to keep him down there until an injury happens. Now, fortunately, September 1st is not far away, so it's not that much big an issue.
I think it's going to be September 1st.
I kind of lean that. I mean, based on what Q said, he's got to earn a spot. A spot's got to open up.
Which
that's
means
injury, or I mean,
he can't just like hit like this and get the spot. He's saying somebody's got to get hurt or stop performing altogether.
My thing just is that, like, I don't even care about the AAA numbers that he's doing right now. Like, it's cool, but I know he can hit in AAA. I saw that plenty. Wow, he's 11 for 20 and hitting .550. Huh. When he was called up from AAA before, he was 319, 6 home runs, whatever it was, right? Like, I don't know if our board's correct now. That might be a little outdated, but it was 12 games in AAA, 319, 6 homers, 10 RBI, 9 strikeouts. I know he can put up numbers in AAA. That's not the question. It makes me think now more and more, if he was not hurt, would they actually have sent him down? I told you I didn't think they would, but now hearing the way they talk about it, do you think they would have sent him down? Or is it truly this, hey, Yastrzemski, Gritchick, it's just a good group right now. Vibes are good. They're playing better baseball. Basically, they don't want to screw it up.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that the team and the players on the team are happy with the way things are going. And I bet the organization doesn't want to. They felt like they rushed Kag. They didn't rush. They put Kags into big leagues faster than they wanted to put Kags into big leagues. And this gives them an excuse to sit on it for a couple of weeks. I think that is a big part
unless
of it.
they're worried that if he doesn't play every day in the big leagues, that's not good for him. That'd be the only argument I guess I could listen to. But otherwise, to me, I don't need him to play every day.
September 1st, he won't have any games to play in the minors anymore,
Correct, which is why they might just be waiting till September 1st. All right, coming up next here on Cody and Gold, we'll talk about what one conference wants to do. I'm not really buying it. And somebody might be getting traded in the AFC.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, I've been driving a 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat from Shawnee Mission Ford, and you guys know we were driving up to St. Joe the last couple weeks, and I must say the drive to St. Joe for camp this year was the best we've probably had in 5+ years of going up there, and that's because of a feature called Blue Cruise. Look, there's a ton of features I can't wait to tell you guys about in the F-150, but my favorite was Blue Cruise. There's these blue zones essentially on highways all across the country where you can have hands-free driving. So the hour drive back down I-29, for about 75% of it, I didn't have to have my hands on the wheel, still focused, looking forward, and it was a much more relaxed drive back from camp. That's just one of the amazing features in the F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford. And right now, Labor Day sales event is going on. They just announced 0% for 48 months, no payments for 90 days with approved credit on most new Ford vehicles. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, they're on a mission, and they're proving it during their Labor Day sales event by extending your first payment for 120 days. You don't start paying till 2026, and you still get the 2-year, 25,000-mile maintenance along with top trade value now till Labor Day over at Shawnee Mission Ford. They're on a mission to do more. See dealer websites for details.
It's not too late to enjoy your summer with a new or improved deck. Go to PowellExteriorsKC.com to schedule a consultation today. Get your free estimate now, and you could be enjoying your new deck or patio in a matter of weeks. You are one click away from your best summer ever.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance and non-commissioned sales team and top trade-in values.
No pressure, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or ROBSIGHC.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropos Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropos, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropos for dinner. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories. And the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tune in Saturday, August 23rd for K-State and Iowa State, live from Dublin, with pregame starting at 9, kickoff at 11 on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
You guys, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something because it was taking a second.
11 o'clock
hour.
It's Cody and Gold.
I was going to ask. So my class, I start teaching in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Or a week? Oh my God, a week.
We didn't get any of your students
Professor
to come in.
Tapp.
I forgot.
We'll have a new segment. We'll have a new segment starting next week. My professor gig is up to 2 classes this semester.
Hey.
I'm going to go check out one of my new classrooms today. They changed all the tech in it, so I got to go figure out how to hook up my computer.
Oh, it's like approve it?
Well, not even just so I know how to use it.
Wait, is this the same class? Is it the same class twice, or is it two different classes?
2 different classes. I'm now...
One is Baking 101. And
you might as well teach that at this point.
Very proud of my birthday cake.
It looked
very proud of my
the donkey kong cake looked very good. You did a very nice job with that. Baking 101 and then singing 105 or 110, actually.
Shockingly enough, they allow me to teach 2 different 300 level classes. Can I ask just a brief question about what we think protocol is? So next Tuesday, first class, we go through it. Am I supposed to teach that day, or
go through the syllabus?
Is it cool to just be like expectations?
How long is the syllabus?
Oh yeah, did you get in there?
Dude, I can't get them down.
How long is the syllabi?
There's too many things they legally require you to add to them. They're like 20 pages each. What? So, like, I don't expect him to read them. I can just give you the brief rundown, the
now,
first
do you
day.
just send a digital copy, or are you actually printing that thing off?
I'm not printing it.
You just go. You're just going to send it to him.
Go find it.
Okay,
There's
good.
a requirement to have a syllabus that is 20 pages
No, not
long?
pages. He's saying like there are government like laws and stuff that have to be in the back end of the syllabus.
Because it's a state university, I have to include course policies on dropping it, course policies on harassment, course policies on weeks and classrooms off, and course statements. And, there's just like stuff you have to include.
Legal crap.
That way, if they come and say Cody didn't say this, I'll be like, well,
I feel like that all should be just like publicly available, where you don't have to include.
I'm still
it
upset.
in,
We
the
never
syllabus,
got.
I guess, but
We never got a student in studio after the semester ended to give an
Do you want me to
official.
offer it to one of these two classes?
When the semester ended, I wanted to have a student come in or give us an official, honest opinion after their grade was submitted, so there was no issue.
A report card on you.
A report card on Professor Tapp. We never got that. No. Now, the fact that the university brought you back is a good sign. So that's very good.
300 level classes, Cody.
Yeah.
They already asked me back for next semester, and I haven't even taught this one yet. They got to work ahead. You know how this works.
I guess so.
Somebody said, "Did everyone pass?" What am I legally allowed to say? Am I allowed to talk pass fail?
You can say yes or
you
no.
just can't say the student or anything. You just can say, "Did everybody pass your class?"
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Did one person get close to not? Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Only one. Dicey.
As the semester went on, did attendance just dip drastically?
For the one student,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Overall, no, I'd say it's mostly the same. My attendance policy is the same. There are things that we only do in class, so I would recommend you're there because, those are things we do in class. But outside of that, I think it's about the same. The classes are only an hour and 15 minutes each now, Drew, so I'm 2 days a week instead of one.
Okay.
So I think on that first day, it's fine to just be like, here's the syllabus, here are the expectations, here's what we're going to learn. Do you have any questions? Yeah. I'll see you Thursday.
Class should not be the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, I
need to see. Somebody asked on the text line if you have a Rate My Professor page yet, and
I told you I was trying to set one up.
But I don't think it was up there yet. I don't think I have her Rate My Professor page.
I don't see anything.
God, that would be that for this show's purposes. That's a really bad thing to have.
Outstanding.
I don't think I want to rate my professors. And I haven't gotten, I've yet to get a student that's like a big fan of this show or anything yet. So that
you
always
don't
feels
want
like
that.
I
don't think you want
I don't
that.
think
I
I
don't
do.
think you want that. That's not good for anybody involved in that situation.
I'm going to have to rely on some of our TV friends because the other class I'm teaching is radio and television performance.
Yeah, you better start having some. Yeah, you're gonna have to have guest speakers for Rob Collins or somebody like that.
And I want to see if Rob will show him around Fox 4. Tell him the real.
It sounds like you gotta buy Rob some lunch or something at some point.
If I'm gonna make him
take
come
on
20 kids.
It sounds like he needs a cut of the stipend.
A cut.
He's gonna be teaching his class.
I didn't say he had
with
to
you.
co-teach it. I just said he could, come in and talk to the class, give a little words of wisdom. Mackenzie could come give little words of
wisdom.
wisdom.
Wants to know: are you gonna have time for songs on this show now? Are you gonna have time for the show with multiple classes being taught?
Who's to say we can't just do that during class? This is radio intelligent performance. Sometimes that includes songs.
You ought to rename.
We could just work on a song for the whole class.
You should rename your class the fan club and just have a fan club of have Harold and Rob and Mackenzie all in and just collectively.
Missing the drink element. Most of these kids probably aren't 21.
Well, you'd have to take that off. But
I still think I'd like to offer to buy a beer for some of the kids in the class at the end of the semester.
No, you don't want to do
You guys said that's a no-go.
Yeah,
because I've
stay
had
away.
many drinks with professors
after
when
the fact,
I was in school. When I was in school.
Oh, like a year or so later, I did, but
it depends on
not while you're actively, in the same year that you're teaching class.
Cody,
with
I'll
them.
also be honest. As an adjunct professor, I like if you're there.
Emphasis. He put emphasis on the junk there. You notice that?
Adjunct.
He meant to say
adjunct
professor.
I wanted to make sure I said it correctly and I didn't stutter over it. So, anyways, I never have had all of my adjunct professors were cool and everything, but I never felt like I could do you feel like your students can go to you just to talk about whatever? I don't think you're as an adjunct professor. I don't think you're in that lane.
I did a fantasy football league with one of my professors while I was in college.
Where were they adjunct?
Or fantasy baseball. They were. Yeah, they were not a full-time professor.
I had multiple students reach out to me after the semester, so enough to confidently do that.
There you go.
This semester I also had my first repeat student, so Kid who's in my radio and television performance class who's in my previous one.
Okay.
Assuming
Not like
this is-
didn't pass it.
No. The first time I'll have a student for a second class.
Well, that's a good sign for you.
Are you the only one who's teaching this class, or is there somebody else? Because evidently,
I think it's just me.
I was going to say, because not saying they didn't, but if there's somebody else available and they chose you, that's great.
So here you go.
But if they were stuck, then I don't know how they feel about it.
Last thing on this, 913-586-7965. Someone says, if you run into a professor, it's totally okay. You're both already at the bar, but you don't need to go making drink plans. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Run into a student at a bar, be like, let me get you a drink.
Yeah.
So you just need to hang out around campus a little bit more.
Starting next week or so, we will debut a Professor Tap segment. We'll explain that more next week.
We got some more stuff coming for football season.
We got some new stuff we're going to work in throughout football season as well. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Let's get to a wild idea that's out there in college football before we get to some big NFL news from the weekend. So the Big Ten, we all know, along with the SEC, they know they have the power, and boy, oh boy, do they like us to know that every single time. Okay, they remind everybody.
They're not afraid to share that.
Over the weekend, there was a story from ESPN that the Big Ten wants a 24 or 28 team college football playoff, and they are no longer pushing for a 16. This is where their energy is at. So first, let me explain how it would work, and then I'll tell you what I think is personally going on here. But the Big Ten, their plan would mean in a 28-team model, the SEC and Big Ten would each get 7 auto bids. The ACC and Big 12 would get 5. And there would be 2 auto bids for the non-power 4s, and then 2 at-large teams. Let's be real, those 2 at-large teams are probably also coming from the SEC and the Big Ten. So you're basically going to have a majority of the playoff, of course, which we already have now, but to a greater extent, come from those 2 conferences. The 28-team format would put 20 playoff games on campus. Now, we all like that on campus.
I love it.
That part's cool. So that I'm good with. But this is now what the Big Ten is pushing for, and they obviously are making sure it gets leaked out. I think, I don't know if you guys agree, I think this is to make the 16-team playoff with the Big Ten getting a majority of the bids along with the SEC more appetizing. Because now if I tell you that the other option is 28, you say, well, 16 doesn't seem so bad anymore. I wonder if this is to try to make it more appetizing or palatable for everybody else that 16 is what they're going to get.
The only reason I don't know if I don't agree or disagree, but the Big Ten has vocally said they don't like the 5+11 format, which is what the SEC wants if it's 16. So part of me thinks that that the Big Ten has kind of just decided, well, we don't agree with what the SEC wants for 16. Let's just go and make it 24 or 28. I don't mind.
You don't hate this amount of teams?
The reason why, Cody, I don't mind this, but there has to be other things. There's other caveats. The format that they want, the Big Ten, is a format that is stupid. It's 7 Big Ten, 7 SEC. The Big 12, in fairness, gets 5 teams. The ACC gets 5 teams, and then the group of 6 would get 2, which is great. And then there's 2 at-larges. That, though, I think significantly reduces the significance and the importance, rather, instead of saying significance twice, the importance of rivalry games late in the season. Like Florida State and Florida doesn't mean as much because if you're automatically in the playoff, it doesn't feel like it's a win and get in sort of game. So that loses some importance there. But also, I think if they're going to do 24 or 28, they should do what the FCS does, lower Division I. All of the teams in conferences, the conference winners all get in. There's 10 conferences in FBS.
They're never going to do that. Make it the NCAA.
I don't want Conference USA getting a free
Sun Belt team.
I hear you.
I'm just saying they should do it like the FCS does because the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC will still get more teams in. There will be 14 at-larges. That's fine, but it makes significance for the conference title game where we're going down to the last 2-3 weeks of the season across the board. I think more people pay attention to not just the SEC or the Big Ten. They're paying attention to everything in all of college football. It's not going to happen. I also think the regular season should be reduced if they do go to 24 to 10 games, 8 conference and then 2 non-con. And Cody, I know you don't like the cupcake schedule.
No.
You get rid of that as well. Long Island, as you mentioned during our pre-show, is not playing against Boston College. Boston College is not playing Long Island.
Long Island?
Somebody else.
The Sharks. Legitimately.
the Long Island Sharks.
Legitimately, if you are going to make the 5th team in the Big 12 a guaranteed playoff team, and that was TCU last year. I get it. Based on the NFL, based on its number, it kind of like looks like it fits, right, Gold? It's like, oh, they're 9-4. A 9-4 NFL team in the playoff. You certainly wouldn't playoffs. You certainly wouldn't balk at. But yeah, they played the Long Island School of the Blind for 2 of those games, and then it doesn't mean anything. So yeah, you got to get rid of multiple of the joke games. At least make the schedule reflect the quality of your team.
They have to be within the division.
They got to be a power. I
don't think they have to be power because the conference already has it in there. Like if TCU,
you can have one non-power.
If TCU wants to play Sam Houston State, who's in Conference USA, then go ahead and do that. Sam Houston State's going to be solid this year as well. But TCU playing, if you have to play, because I think the whole argument with the SEC is, well, we don't want to play 9 because our conference is tougher. Everything is the same. The SEC has an 8-game schedule. The Big 12 would have an 8-game schedule.
You're going to get in if you're 8-5 out of the SEC. Who cares if it's tough?
And you're letting your league play determine more of your season than like Indiana plays Indiana State and a couple other. They play Kennesaw State, who all these schools stink because they're trying to do what the SEC has done previously and just schedule cupcakes and then just run through the conference.
Someone on the text line is blaming the NCAA for this. This is actually the one time where it's not their fault. The NCAA does not control the college football playoff. It is run by the college football playoff.
Mainly the SEC.
These are the conferences that are basically deciding. This is the one time where the NCAA, I don't blame them for this current issue with realignment. There's plenty of things to blame them for. This is not the one.
You said you think that they're just doing this to make 16 more palatable.
Yeah, I really think so.
Go with the egregious version in order to do it.
The Big Ten doesn't like the model that the SEC, like they can't come to an agreement on the model for 16.
Right, but I still think it's putting pressure to get back to get like everybody. All right, do we really want to? Who really wants to get to 28?
They're trying to make an egregious proposal. If you will, is what you're saying.
To make it more, appetizing.
24 sounds crazy, but I think there's a way that it can work if you make it. Because, like you guys said, nobody wants to see Conference USA champion in there. I agree with that, but I also think that to an extent, nobody wants to see, for the sake of argument, we're not going to use Rutgers, but we'll use Iowa.
Okay.
Nobody wants to see 7-5 Iowa in the college football playoff when they punt all the time. Nobody wants to see that.
Here's the difference, though, that I think we're missing out on, is that for the casual college football fan, who I think that this is geared towards, if you did a 2014, the casual.
Agreed.
If right now that you say you go down to a 10-game schedule, if right now that game is Long Island School of the Blind versus them, versus it's a playoff game of Iowa and these two teams, and they both have 7 or 8 wins, but it's a playoff game and one of them gets eliminated, I'm more interested in that game than week 4.
I will watch.
6,
I
8.
will watch, but it is like pathetic if we start having 8-win football teams in a college football playoff
I mean, it's
system.
good for Kansas, Kansas State,
it
Missouri.
Is for
it's
all
good
3
for the
locals. It definitely is.
Absolutely is good.
It definitely is. Someone was saying that the Big Ten. No, we're not talking about the conference is expanding. We're talking about they're wanting the playoff to expand. No, the Big Ten's not adding to 2018. We're talking just. Someone's like. Someone said, "Why are you talking about the Big 12? They won't exist if the Big 10 has 28." That's not what they're talking. This is just expanding the college football playoff. The Big Ten wants to go to 28.
And we haven't had any discussion on whether the Big 12 likes this or not. I'd be intrigued to see if Brett Yormark likes this idea.
We haven't heard yet. Yeah, we definitely haven't heard. All right, let's get to a huge story in the NFL over the weekend, and that is that the Cincinnati Bengals are listening to trade offers for their star defensive end, Trey Hendrickson. We all know he wants a new deal. He has not been practicing. He's been holding out or holding in, whatever you want to call it. At this point in time, both, I guess, to be exact. I'm not saying that, I think definitively he's getting traded. I still think it's less than 50% chance he gets traded. But the fact that they are reportedly listening to offers and teams like the Panthers, the Browns, and the Colts are interested, that they're looking for, a starter right away or multiple draft picks and all that, the fact that that's being floated out there, most organizations, I would say they're trying to pressure the player. It's Cincinnati we're talking about. I actually think there is a chance they trade him. This was a team that had the worst defense in football last year with Trey Hendrickson, and now you're saying we might trade one of the best defensive players in football.
The worst defense in football again.
I love my ticket on the Bengals at plus 118 and not make the playoffs if that's the case.
Did you so there's really a couple things at play here. The teams you mentioned who are interested, I think that's intentional. I think Cincinnati is threatening Trey Hendrickson with marooning him on Freak Island and saying you can either take less money from us or we'll trade you to a loser. Do you want to go to a loser or do you want to have a chance to win a Super Bowl with Cincinnati, which is a crazy threat?
There's definitely pressure, and I would believe it more if it was, frankly, an ownership group that was different. Like Cincinnati, I actually think they might consider trading him.
The other part is they're never getting a first-round pick. Someone looked it up. Do you know the last time a non-quarterback was traded for a first-round pick who was over 30 years old? 1994. It was before Drew was born.
They want players back.
I know, but
based on the reports, more than picks.
But they said they want a first-round pick.
The problem is, Drew, it's August 18th. How many teams are even willing to have the cap room and all of that to make a trade happen?
Patriots, I will say, their executive vice president today said, we're willing to give a first-round pick to make our team better this year. Didn't mention Trey Hendrickson's name, but sure as hell mentioned the fact that they've got a pick to burn if it means they get a player.
No secret here. I would love that. It'd be amazing if that happened.
I don't think he's getting traded. As a matter of fact, I think he's going to sign the week of week 1. I think this is all... This is the thing, too, that based on, I forget who reported it, but it was like for the last couple of weeks this has been going on. Why wasn't it reported when it originally started? Because they're in the same position they've been this entire time.
Yeah, no progress has been made.
I didn't see this as any new news, at all. Like, I don't think he's going to be traded unless, hey, if Mike Brown wants to send Trey Hendrickson in a second for Micah Parsons and in a fifth, be my guest, we'll do that.
So wait, you think Cincinnati, who's not willing to pay Trey Hendrickson, is going to be willing to give up draft assets
for a 4-year younger
for
player?
Micah
Absolutely.
Parsons and pay Micah Parsons the dollar amount which is more than Trey Hendrickson?
Yes.
The Cowboys, number one, wouldn't do the trade. Number two, I don't think your ownership group would be willing to pay Micah Parsons.
I think because he's under 20, because he's under 30, they would. The Bengals have this weird thing with players who hit 30.
Most teams do. Trey doesn't sign a lot of guys. He's paid Chris Jones.
My thing is you would agree, though, right? Like without Trey Hendrickson, there is zero chance that team can get to where you think or where you want them to get to.
I mean, yeah, they're absolutely not. You can take any sort of a contender situation out of it for sure. Yeah. I think that the thing that would be egregious about it is if they did. I don't think they're going to trade him. If they did trade him, they have $30 million in cap space right now. Why are you not using that? Like they will have really dropped the ball with this.
Great ownership there in Cincinnati.
With the having cap space available and not utilizing
in his pocket.
I can't imagine them not utilizing and having $30 million cap space going into the season would be just
in the middle of
crazy.
In the middle of a Super Bowl contending year, they are either going to pay Trey Hendrickson and use some of that money or not have it. And it was never going to be a $30 million cap hit. So they were leaving money on the table either way because they're cheap and they don't actually care about contending. This is why I don't take them serious.
And this is the thing that I think people don't understand is that this whole time, the narrative was they can't pay all 3 players. They can pay all 3 players. It's just that they're not
will
at this
they
point.
Pay all 3 players?
Will they pay all 3? The discussion was, surely they can't pay all 3. No, they could pay Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. The problem is they're just not willing to do so.
Well, we're going to find out in about 3 weeks if they actually are willing to do that.
I will say this. If they pay Trey Hendrickson, nobody can say that Mike Brown is cheap anymore. I don't think you can say it. I don't think you can say it anymore because he'll have offered top quarterback money, top wide receiver money, top DN money. I don't think you can I don't think you can that whole narrative has to go away, I think. Because people, he's not paying anybody, he's cheap. He pays people. He's not paying Trey Hendrickson. If he pays Trey Hendrickson, there's nothing else that you can say about Mike Brown, and that narrative is just kind of crushed, I think, in that same sentence. If he's not cheap anymore, if he pays all 3 of these guys and Joe Burrow at the same time, like that narrative should be squashed.
That's probably fair from an ownership level. I think it would still be, in terms of allocating resources, it sounds great. But like, I'm paying my quarterback and my 2 top receivers. But still, I still think whether Trey Hendrickson plays or not, that defense is going to suck. Like Joe Burrow, I've said all along.
How bad are they going to suck? Because if that number has a 2 in front of it, they're better than they were last year, and I'll take it.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow can put up 4,500 yards and throw for 45 touchdowns. Jamar Chase will have 1,600 yards receiving, and the defense is still 26th.
They're making the playoffs. If their defense is 26th,
a fringe wild card team at that point. Fringe.
Which is fine.
That's where we're at. Okay, as long as we agree that's what they are now, then
if they can
really
get to
low bar for a team that's supposed to be in a championship.
If they can get to 25th ranked defense, they can absolutely go on a run and make it to the Super Bowl.
But when you're paying Jamar 100%. Chase and Joe Burrow at the same time, this is the problem I have with them, the $30 million in cap space. The Cincinnati is definitively in their championship window.
Yeah,
and they have a window, unlike their window is not just Joe Burrow's career.
It is.
Like it is with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, they wouldn't miss the playoffs as much. I would normally agree with you, Drew, but in a championship window, they're just choosing to not spend money. It's crazy. Crazy.
But that's who Mike Brown is, and that, at this point, it's what he's been. And I don't know. I would love to know what he actually is thinking right now. Like, do you not understand the window that you're in? Like, I think a lot of fans question his desire to actually win games.
I just wonder
because of the situation they're in. Is the best that they've ever been in as a franchise in their history.
I will say this though. If I'm Trey Hendrickson, I'm saying, hey, where's Joe Burrow backing me up the same way he backed up T. Higgins and Jamar Chase?
Joe Burrow was asked about it a couple weeks ago, and he said,
what did he say?
He said the deal needs to get done with Trey. It's really disappointing. It's become a distraction. And then he said,
because
I think a lot of these deals are going to end up the way you see it more is they get done right before the season starts. And he said, hopefully it's going to get done before the season starts.
Because the reports were basically before with Chase and Higgins, like he basically was like, you better get this thing done or else kind of thing.
He said the same thing during Radio Row at the Super Bowl. Like, we need to pay Trey.
Yeah.
He was on Dan Patrick's show saying the same thing. It's just, it was obviously covered more because it was Jamar Chase, and that's his boy from college.
Yeah, he got his. His buddies got taken care of already. I'm just saying, there's one guy that hasn't yet, and it's Trey Hendrickson. It's going to be something to watch. I still would put it below 50% chance that they trade him. I'm kind of with you that I would still lean to him getting a deal done before the season, but it's something to watch for sure. All right, guys, let's get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We're expected to see a few players at the podium today. We're going to hear from Andy Reid as well, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Let's build your dream deck over at All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price. Schedule a free estimate today by going to allweatherdecks.net or call 913-206-1974. You've probably had dreams of what you thought your outdoor space could look like multiple times, or maybe you're just looking for inspiration. You can check out photos of their work on their website, from deck builds to outdoor kitchens to so many different outdoor projects, and a map of where they've been building them throughout the city, whether it just be a big covered patio, kind of like I've got on my back porch, or just one of those big, large wraparound porches you've been thinking about. Your dream deck is around the corner thanks to All Weather Decks. Don't just trust me. Trust the people, the thousands of people across Kansas City who have named them a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. So go with Kansas City's most respected deck builder and give them a call, 913-206-1974, or online at allweatherdecks.net.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money. It's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropos Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropos, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropos for dinner. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event, up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painter's Trust kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results? Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the sound of happy. Hear that? That's the DQ chicken strip basket. Only $7.49 for a limited time. We're talking 4 100% white meat seasoned chicken strips served with fries, Texas toast, and DQ signature country gravy. Yeah, you heard that right. For crunch time and no time, it can only be the DQ chicken strip basket. Just $7.49 for a limited time. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. I'm exercising a little bit more. I'm trying to, get more in shape and improve my performance just on a regular basis. But what if you could improve your performance in the bedroom as well? Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better. And Blue Chew is your secret weapon for the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on, and you can perform at your very best. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription, and you don't have to go to the doctor's office. There's no awkward conversations. There's no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It's an online prescription service, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. There's a great offer for you as well. Free is awesome, isn't it? Go to BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code KFNZ to receive your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
For over 36 years, Metal by the Foot has been your source for steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
We are expected to hear from Andy Reid along with Josh Simmons in the next couple of minutes. We'll go out to Arrowhead as soon as they are available. Of course, you're home for Chiefs football, home for KC Sports right here, 96.5 The Fan. Friday night, final preseason game right here on 96.5 The Fan. That includes pregame coverage with Josh Briscoe on the Chiefs Radio Network along with postgame coverage. And then Mitch, Danon, and Kling And pretty soon we'll start our weekly visits up with the guys too. We already have Briscoe coming on Fridays. We'll be having Dane and Hughes come on throughout the season. We'll be having Kling back on the show throughout the football season. So we're excited. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close, which is why don't stress out about what happens on a second preseason game on a Friday night at 9 o'clock in the rain in Seattle when the starters aren't playing. Look, the defense. The defense was a pitiful performance on that first drive in particular was so bad. But Trent McDuffie wasn't out there. Chris Jones wasn't out there. Nick Bolton wasn't out there. By the way, more appreciation for Nick Bolton. For those of you that like to hate on him, I think you realize that linebacking crew doesn't look too good when he's not out there, does it? They ran all over the Chiefs.
It looks susceptible.
How many starters were out there during the first drive? 4 or 5?
I don't even know.
Let's see. No McDuffie.
George was out there.
No
Cook was out there.
Jones.
Shamari Connor was out there.
I would say there was probably.
Those guys are more like on a shared.
I would say true.
Jaden Hicks was out there.
I would say true starters, like 1, if that.
They had Shamari Connor and Cook.
Yeah, but like Cody
said,
said,
rotational start out of that.
Not sure, but I think what Cody's saying is like guys that are getting majority of the snap, the high end of the snaps, like your star players, your starters were not out there. Anyway,
they only had
Charles was out there too.
Who?
Charles Aminu was out. He was out there at the third quarter.
He was in the third quarter. He again, rotational guy. He's not a starting defensive lineman for them. He's a rotational defensive lineman.
Largely
who's starting at edge then? Dana?
Karloftis and Dana, yeah, most likely.
And Charles Aminu, they're going to rotate in.
If we wanted to. I'm not saying there weren't 0 starters. There definitely were some starters out there, but it was still a limited number. This goes back to the very first preseason game that you and I joked about, in which we watched Joe Burrow throw for like a gajillion yards, but also Cincinnati's defense get absolutely blitzed by, I can't even remember the name of the quarterback. That's how bad of a quarterback they were.
Tanner McKee.
Absolutely lighting them up. If I accept that as who a team is, well, then I have to assume what? The Chiefs are no good this year and the Bills also stink? The Bills got waxed yesterday.
Yeah, look, the games are about individual performances. We've said that. I mean, preseason's about individual performances, not the end result. And yeah, they're defensively, for some guys that will be, to what Drew's saying, in fairness, some guys that will be playing this year, obviously did not play well either. But I think we all know the defense is different when Trent McDuffie, Chris Jones, and Nick Bolton for starters are out there.
Totally.
Offensively, look, it was Gardner Minshew with a starting offensive line. But after that, I think there was one pass to Rashee Rice who got called back on a penalty, and that was it. I mean, Xavier Worthy didn't play. I mean, it was basically Robert Tonyan and a bunch of guys further down the depth chart. Robert Tonyan once again looked good, by the way. I mean, he's a lock for tight end 3. I don't know how there's any question. I mean,
I'd be kind of surprised.
He looks really, really good.
But they only had 88 yards passing. So if you stayed up late, you're locked into some Chiefs Seahawks.
Sky Moore had drops, but then he had a punt return late.
I was locked into Sky Moore. I felt bad for him, dude. I felt so bad.
It started to feel like the yips. It started to feel like Chuck Knobloch throwing
really
to
bad.
first base.
Yeah,
there was a point in that game. There was a part of that game where you're like, oh, Sky, you're a receiver. Your job is to catch the football.
Yeah.
And I was starting. It was beyond the let's joke. I genuinely started to feel bad.
I felt terrible.
You know what we have to do though?
I started to feel bad for them.
You know what I have to do? Technically, tomorrow. We have to name our official Camp Darling Island.
This game was so bad. I almost want to push
I'll tell you who's stopped.
I almost want to watch.
You want to wait till Monday?
I almost want to watch Friday's preseason game. This one was such a dud.
Brashard Smith had some moments.
This was such a dud. I don't even want it to let it decide it.
Okay, we could wait till Monday. I will say this though. I actually think of the names we've discussed that improved their stock. I thought Noah Williams was the biggest stock booster of any of the Camp Darlings. Remember, we have Camp Darling throughout.
Brashard was okay.
And the remaining guys were who? Brownlee, Tyquan Thornton, right?
And yes.
Jalen Royals.
And Royals.
And I would say
Royals had 0 catches. So if we were doing an elimination today,
I would say Royals is out again, and I would argue that Noel Williams is back on the island.
Yeah, it'd be him or Brashard.
And
he
it
had
really
40
comes down,
yards and a 10-yard run, so he looked okay.
At this exact second, if we don't wait until Friday's game, I would say it's between Tyquan Thornton and Noel Williams, and Tyquan Thornton would probably be the winner if I had to pick today.
Unless we're not ageist, in which case it's Robert Tonyan.
But he can't be a Big Bob Tonyan. He's definitely a darling, but I don't think you can be a Camp Darling at age 31.
I agree. I don't. We discussed him a week ago, and I felt the same way. I know we've been accused of being ageist on the show before. I just don't think you can be 31 and have played for 5 NFL teams and then be a Camp Darling.
Yeah. Someone says Sky Moore punt return. Did that do anything? For another
passes.
for another team, I mean, I think for another team, he's not making this football team. We've known this for months.
It shouldn't be just off.
There's no way he thinks he's making this team. He has to just showcase himself so another team will sign him. And I think, and by the way, somebody else will sign him. Whenever he gets cut, somebody else will sign him. He was a draft pick. He's not, he hadn't been in the league for 7 years, okay? Like, somebody else will give him an opportunity. We've seen this. The Chiefs do it with other players all the time. Somebody else drafted him, didn't get a lot out of him, and you think you can find something there and change of scenery and all that. For the Chiefs, I always think it's different because of hey, he couldn't make it work with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Why do I think it's going to work in Carolina with Bryce Young and Canales? I'm just using him as an example.
Sure.
But somebody else will pick him up, and he deserves another opportunity somewhere else, but...
I thought it was cool that that all the players went and celebrated with him after the punt return.
He's very well liked. He's very well liked in the locker room.
You just feel bad because of how bad the game was.
Got a great personality and all that. He just has not performed up to where he should be.
I think because it was West Coast football at 9 p.m. in a meaningless game. One more week.
Okay.
I think we wait until Monday to announce the Camp Darling.
Who do they play?
And the three, I think the Bears.
And they're going to play starters Friday night.
And I think the three people.
At Arrowhead, too, Drew. There you go.
I think the three finalists should be Noel Williams, Tyquan Thornton, and Brashard Smith. I think those are the only three players who have made a notable impact. We're bringing people back on.
I agree.
We're taking people back off.
Yeah.
Noel Williams back. Brashard Smith back. Tyquan's never left.
Yeah.
And between those three, we declare our Camp Darling. Let the final preseason game decide.
We can wait till Monday then. I guess it is Monday.
Because honestly, that game felt so meaningless. It feels wrong.
It's going to be weird.
It feels wrong to declare the winner.
Friday, Cody and I were going to be sitting in a sports book at Circa in Vegas after our show. We're just going to be sitting in a sports book watching Chiefs-Bears preseason.
For the second anytime touchdown for Brashard Smith.
For the second year in a row, I believe. I think last time we were in Vegas, there was Chiefs-Bears preseason game, wasn't it?
Well, we watched a Grand Slam in the World Series. When
that was the last time we were there. I mean,
the time before there was a preseason Chiefs game as well. The only other thing in the game that stood out to me is Kingsley Suamataia cannot pass block.
Oof.
And I am not the only person who's noticed it. We all have.
He got beat off the line pretty
pass
bad.
Block.
He
can run block fine. He can't pass block.
Are you on my side now a little bit more that at the end of camp I said I think it's a 75% chance he wins the job, but I don't think it's over. Are you?
Yeah, that's close.
Are you willing to go there on, hey, Mike Caliendo or Jalen Moore should be getting some more reps there this week, and you need to really think harder about Kingsley being your starting left guard? Now, look, worst case scenario, he starts at left guard week 1. And we know they're willing to pull him from a starting job. And not that you won't ever do that, but could they start him week 1 and give him one final shot and then you go? I wouldn't like to even do that because to me the games are too important. It's a divisional game week 1 against the Chargers. But Jalen Moore, he can play guard. He can play guard if they need to.
They're also paying him.
They are.
So why not use him?
They are.
If the starters get 2 drives, let's say they get 2 drives on Friday because they are going to play. If they get 2 drives, one with Kingsley, one with Jalen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. He clearly has some physical attributes. And I'm not going to talk about anchor points or the things that I only passingly have heard about used as buzzwords. I don't necessarily know all the different technique parts of it outside of it. But he can't pass block. I can watch that. He's getting bull rushed. Sometimes he's getting speed rushed. He gets bullied a little bit in the pass block game. He mows some people down in a run block situation. So if the Chiefs really think that they can teach him guard and to pass block by the end of the season, I am willing to allow a guy to develop in the year and take their time with it. They've done that before and it's worked. So, if they don't think he can do it, then I would just go to Jalen.
I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, Jeff Schwartz went ahead and sent out a tweet where he kind of evaluated Kingsley and Josh Simmons a little bit. He said Kingsley looks solid in the run game, having issues in pass pro. He's allowing too much space before contact. Before contact, he's got to strike quickly and with more power. Whether that, I don't know if that's getting off the line. I don't know. But Jeff Schwartz went ahead and talked a little bit about that. He also mentioned something about Josh Simmons saying he feels like he's a little bit behind and he's too grabby. But for Kingsley, the big concern obviously is the run protection is fine. The run blocking is fine. It's the pass pro and maybe his quickness off the line to get in contact is the issue, according to Jeff.
It was really weird the way the in-game grading was going. I think it was Jesse Newell from The Athletic.
Yeah, he had a 27 in-grade pass grade.
That sent out the tweet about again, it's a preliminary grade, but in 10 snaps, the preliminary grade, I don't know what the final grade was. We could go look
I think it was in the 80s too.
The Chiefs' highest graded offensive player in the middle of the game was Kingsley at 86.8. The lowest graded pass blocker was Kingsley at 28.4. The highest graded run blocker was Kingsley at 89.2. So it's like
it doesn't make any sense.
He can run block. Pass blocking's an adventure.
This also isn't the right team to be a good run blocker for.
Here's the problem. Pass blocking is an adventure, is an interesting thing to say about a team who has a rookie left tackle too. Is that where you want to be? Do you want to be in the guessing game of the blocking system of the entire left side of your offensive line? That's what you did last year. And at the very least, for a portion of the year, you weren't guessing about the entire left side. You were only guessing about left tackle. You knew left guard was locked down. You were squared away there. Simmons is not Trent Williams. He's not one of these left tackles who can just cover up every Kingsley mistake. He's got his own stuff to get better on and to work on as the season goes on. He can't just cover your ass the whole year. So, Gold, I still think he's going to win the job. But I would, very much so, if I were the Chiefs, see what Jalen Moore looks like in practice this week and probably give him a drive at the starters.
We saw it at camp. I mean, he got reps at left guard. We also saw in the game, Jalen Moore got the first team reps at right tackle for Juwan Taylor. That was kind of interesting. We saw that throughout camp at times. I still think Juwan Taylor's the starting right tackle. I think it's just still, let's continue to get Jalen Moore a ton of reps at right tackle because in 2026, I think Jalen Moore will be the right tackle for this team. So I think they want to have some options there. Juwan Taylor, do they want him to play on that turf in Seattle just because of the injury? Why even risk? I think there's a couple reasons why Juwan Taylor did not play.
I think the turf being a huge reason why. They're going to have to baby that knee the entire time.
Can we also agree
that
being
cautious, but yeah,
if Kingsley doesn't win this job, or if he does get benched, it's done.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. If he does not win the job, or he loses it mid-season, then yeah, it's over.
His time in Kansas City is coming to a close.
The pick was bad, and we can just go on from there.
Yeah, he has to at least to salvage this thing. He has to turn out to be a very nice guard in the league.
He can still be that, but third-round pick, and he's just a backup. Where at least you're getting some value out of the deal. He might turn into that. Well, he's a backup guy, and he's better than our other backup guy, so I guess so be it. But yeah, he has to win the job to salvage the pick, sure. He has to be the starting. He has to be a starting offensive lineman. Offensive linemen are simple. If you're taking in the first 3 rounds, for it to be a truly successful pick, you got to start. For it to not be a total waste, at least be like what bare minimum Wanye is, which is you're on the team, you're a backup guy, you can be used in occasional situations.
We are still awaiting Andy Reid and Josh Simmons, thinking of the offensive line, to talk a little bit about what they have had for the first few preseason games heading into the preseason finale on Friday night. As soon as Andy is at the podium, we will go out to Arrowhead. You are not missing anything right here on 96.5 The Fan. Going back to the Camp Darling, someone did say, hey, don't forget, it wasn't a touchdown, but Jalen Royals did have a very nice return. The return happened during the Clark Hunt interview, so it didn't get discussed very much. It was in the middle of the broadcast when they had Clark in the broadcast booth, of course, talking about the Kingdom documentary. Did you finish the Kingdom documentary?
I have an episode left.
I did. It's very, very well done. It's I think you'll like the final episode or two more because it's literally about
they talk a lot about Dorsey or
no, it's about the Super Bowl and stuff.
Cody's gonna be disappointed.
They do not. Cody. Spoiler: there's not a John Dorsey appearance in episode 6.
I thought about it more as I'm 5 episodes in. I feel like this documentary, and I've watched the 5th episode.
Okay.
I feel like this documentary is more a history of the Chiefs than it is about the three-peat. They mentioned the three-peat way less than they mentioned, this is where they were in the 70s. This is where they were in the 80s.
I mean, the final episode is about the game.
Okay, so, the final episode will be... But, the series itself doesn't feel like it's just about the three-peat. It feels like they started...
They said it was about... I think even from the beginning, if you read the initial, release, it said it's a history of the Chiefs and their quest for history, right?
And so, and I feel like it's focused less on the quest for history, maybe because they lost the game, maybe because that's not the material they had, I'm not sure. And so, but I only felt more emboldened as I watched more episodes because I'm Alex was like, well, you just wanted to mention every person, no Pioli mentioned, no this, and which felt like hyperbolic at the time. They mentioned...
It's starting to get there for you.
They mentioned all kinds of players, man. They mentioned Deron Cherry's got 3 mentioned in this thing. You can't even bring up the guy who drafted Mahomes.
He's a Chiefs Hall of Famer.
I don't think you can tell the story of the Kansas City Chiefs without mentioning John Dorsey. I think it is an incomplete novel.
Yeah, I think
it's like ignoring a chapter of the book.
So you would grade it as a B-, this documentary then?
No, it's
very well produced.
Yeah, it's
very well produced. It's very well put together. That's a personal gripe. That has nothing to do with the production value. And most Chiefs fans are going to really like it.
It's very, very well done. It's very well done. I'd give it an A. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We don't need to rehash the whole thing, but like I will say, like Deron Cherry's a Chiefs Hall of Famer, so of course he's going to get mentioned about the history of the team. But like
but there's people who aren't Chiefs Hall of Famers who get mentioned. You know, kickers who and like they mentioned, like you'd said, why would they mention the negative? They mentioned Belcher, they mentioned missed kicks, they missed field goals. They show all.
No, I didn't say don't mention the negative. I said the GM of we're going to get back into this now.
No, you're right.
All I said was the GM that was there as the GM when they won the titles is going to get way more and majority of the attention than the guy that they fired. That's all. Anyway, let's go out to Arrowhead.
It was way more involved.
And hear from Andy Reid.
All right. As far as the injuries go, Felix strained that hamstring. Most likely he's going to go on IR here. So this evening or this afternoon. Jack Cochran has a knee bone bruise. He won't practice today. Driscoll won't practice. Mike Edwards, the hamstring strain, he won't practice. Najee Johnson had a shoulder strain. He won't go today. Omar had the ankle sprain and kind of re-hurt it or something of that sort. And then Jalen Royals has a knee tendonitis, and he'll be out today. So, other than that, everybody's going, and this will be very similar to a in-season Wednesday practice. Now that we're back here, it gives the guys kind of a dry run to see how the meeting schedule goes for an in-season game, and also practice goes. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
I know it's still a few days away, but did you anticipate the starters playing in this third game maybe a little bit more than usual?
Yeah, they'll start it off for sure, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Yeah.
You had the offensive line play some in this last one. Have you seen enough for what you'd like to see on that left side with the young guys, or how much more do you need to see?
I like how physical they're playing, that for sure. The more reps they get, the better, I think, for them. But I think they're doing a good job over there. Yeah.
You still switching philosophy, going from 2 to 3 with the starters. What went into that?
I wanted to give the best look we could to these guys that are trying to make the team. We've got some guys that are right on the border of making it. Give them a shot. Yeah. And I wanted to see the quarterback work with the one offensive line. Yeah.
India, no, you said it's expected that he'll be placed on IR, but if that's the case with Felix and that ending the season, just how disappointing is that for him entering obviously year 3?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. That's he's worked hard, so we'll see where it goes. I can't tell you how long it's going to be, but any time for that is disappointing for him. I know, because he works so stinking hard.
Coach, we always ask you about Josh Simmons, but we're going to get him here shortly. At 2 preseason games, body of work of camp, what is your evaluation of him as you prepare for the regular season?
Yeah, no, listen, I like the way he's approached it. Herbie, he's worked at it. He hasn't missed a beat here as far as missing a day or any of that. So he's been available, and he's working with Coach Heck on getting better every day. So I like where we're at right now, but we got to keep going. He's a young guy, and but he's been working his tail off. Yeah.
With Kingsley,
same thing with Kingsley, just
yeah, I tell you the same thing. Yeah, Kingsley's moved into a new position, and those two they got a little something going there that you can see it more in the run game right now, where they're really working well together. And then the pass game, both of them are kind of feeling that part out, but they're doing a good job with it. We've been able to get some games in there against them. I thought they handled that well last week. Some of the blitz stuff, So Kingsley had a couple trip ups where the back stepped up and he tripped over somebody's foot there, back's foot. But other than that, he did a pretty good job there.
Are the challenges there going to be more technique individually with those guys, or is it going to be that communication and picking up some of the complicated twists and complex moves you're going to see?
Yeah, they've been working double time on that, so we'll see how it goes with the game part of it and that. But then, talking through everything, they're going to see some new things for both of them, and how they handle that. We'll see how it goes when we get there with it.
When you go into a season with
rookie left tackle with a guy left guard who's never played. Was this just part of the process you knew was going to be part of the process going into it?
Yeah. So you're in this thing long enough, you're going to have changeover. And you're going to have young guys that have got to step up and they got to play. So he's a talented kid and wants to be good and is working at it. Both of them are that way. Both of them are high draft picks. So you got to get in and you got to go. And you're going to live with a few things, but you expect to see constant growth as you go. And similar to what we did with the secondary a few years ago, a lot of young guys, and early it wasn't quite as pretty as it was at the end. So, yeah.
With Kingsley, you get a lot thrown in last year, coming to the National Football League, making the position change. We just see what we see, a little bit we watch in the practice field and what we see in the games. What are you seeing from him that you like in the meetings, attitude-wise, and all that stuff for this challenge?
Yeah, Kingsley's a sharp guy. He's quiet, but he's a sharp guy, and he's welcomed in this left tackle, and they're trying to work that thing together. And at the same time, him doing his job, moving from tackle to guard. But I like the way he handles himself in meetings. He's grown in that area, just attention to detail, all those things. I think it was good for him last year to get in there.
You're listening to Andy Reid here on 96.5 The Fan. Obviously, the big news at the beginning, Felix Anudike-Uzomah likely headed to IR with a hamstring strain. That would end his season.
Over the weekend news on Rashee Rice, have you heard from the league? And how do you prepare for this unknown period?
Yeah, well, we know, we've heard about the hearing part of it, that part. But then they've got to work all that out. I don't know the details of it. I don't think anybody does right at this minute. So we'll see where it all goes. But we just, when we hear, we'll do what we have to do, So.
Nate? Andy, what would you like to see this week out of Hollywood Brown? And is there a chance he could be out there on Friday just to get one sort of dress?
Yeah, so Hollywood did a little work yesterday, and which was good. He'll get a little bit more today. And then we'll just see. We'll see how he progresses through this thing. So, but he wants to. It's not a matter of wanting to be out there. He wants to do it. It's just taking it slow. So we don't want any setbacks with this thing going forward here.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, so that was Andy Reid. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, hamstring strain, likely headed to the IR. We'll react to that a little bit. Plus, Najee Johnson's got a strained shoulder. Jalen Royals, knee tendonitis, not expected to practice today. Andy did say the starters are expected to play some on Friday night in the Chiefs' preseason finale, the only preseason game at home at Arrowhead against the Chicago Bears. So up next, let's get to what's trending. Let's react a little bit more to what he had to say there about Felix and what that means for his career, plus this defensive line in 2025.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Take a swing all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game, one of the leading places to make all your sports selections that you can play in your state. Football or baseball, all available over there. So join the millions of fans who've already won billions making plays on Underdog and be the next to join the over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. Super easy. Download the app. Choose a player to go higher or lower than their favorite stats. So if it's football, touchdowns, yards, interceptions, etc. If it's baseball, like tonight, home runs, strikeouts, total bases. Once your entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1. And if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. If your entry is correct, could win that easily over there at Underdog. So download the app, sign up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make that first deposit. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See underdogfantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. No gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsighc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic, semaglutide injection 0.5 milligrams.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents The sound of happy. Hear that? That's the DQ Chicken Strip Basket. Only $7.49 for a limited time. We're talking 4 100% white meat seasoned chicken strips served with fries, Texas toast, and DQ signature country gravy. Yeah, you heard that right. For crunch time in no time, it can only be the DQ Chicken Strip Basket. Just $7.49 for a limited time. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
Have you watched Die Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending is the news we just heard from Andy Reid in the last 15 minutes. That is that Felix Anudike-Uzomah has a hamstring strain. Yes, a hamstring strain. And he is likely to be placed on the IR, which would end his season. This is not the PUP list. This would, at this point in time, if you're placed on IR, it would be a season-ending injury for Felix. We're going to talk more about that. Other injury news, Najee Johnson dealing with a strained shoulder. Jalen Royals, knee tendonitis, not going to practice today. Hollywood Brown, though, is back out there. That's good news. And as far as the preseason game on Friday night, which you can hear right here on 96.5 The Fan, Andy Reid, as he said on Friday night, expects to have some starters play at Arrowhead against the Bears.
Next up on What's Trending, the Royals sweep the White Sox, completing it yesterday in a come-from-behind win. Starting in the 7th inning, they're now 2 games above 500 at 63 and 61. Take on the Rangers for a 4-game set starting tonight at the K. I believe it's Waka on the mound tonight.
All right. No, Cameron just pitched over the week as well. Yeah, I think that would be correct. He should be up. Double check on that one. Of course, the game, as you said right here.
I should have checked that before.
On 96.5. The Fan. Elsewhere.
Now I'm determined.
Elsewhere, soccer over the weekend. The KC Current ended in a draw with the Orlando Pride after a 3.5-hour delay. We're going to talk more about that at some point this hour. Also, Sporting was playing Orlando. They had a delay due to thunderstorms, I think, in Orlando. They lost 3-1.
We'll talk about the Current thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
really
it was
weird.
A mess. It was a mess.
Weird Saturday for a lot of people trying to attend the KC Current game on Sunday. Yourself included.
Yeah.
Next up on What's Trending, Isaiah Bond signs a 3-year deal with the Cleveland Browns after not being drafted following some allegations of domestic violence. The charges were recently dropped, or they're not pursuing him. I guess outside of that, he got $3 million guaranteed from the Browns. So essentially paying him like he's a 2nd-round pick in guaranteed money. Oh boy, did their GM send out a soliloquy of, we did our research and talked to all parties. Interesting way to stamp your brand. If you're Andrew Berry, the thing you're most known for is giving unprecedented money to accused either domestic violence or sexual assaulters.
And it's going to be Joe Flacco throwing him the ball, too.
Yeah, they
Joe Flacco
just announced a few minutes
really?
ago.
Joe
Within
Flacco's the starter?
Within the last 2 minutes. Week 1 will be Joe Flacco. He was always the favorite to be the Week 1 starter. The question will be, how many games do we think he actually starts for the Browns? And how long does it take? Oh, I think it's over. I'll take the over on that.
I think I'll take more than 4, too.
Yeah, I'd take the over. If you give me 4, I'm taking the over. I think where it gets dicey if you say 7.5. I think for Sanders or Gabriel to play, it's got to be cold out. It's got to be it's got to start getting cold.
And they got to be out of it.
It's got to be November. It's got to be cold. I think we'll see him in November, maybe.
If they're like 3-8, then they're probably trotting out whichever rookie they think is next.
Waste of time. Lastly, on What's Trending, don't forget our Chiefs Roundtable coming up at Hollywood Casino. That with Mitch Holtis and Danon Hughes, Friday, August 29th at 6 p.m. Free and open to the public. Just got to be 21 to enter. Q&A plus a meet and greet to follow. Looking forward to seeing you all out there on August 29th.
That's What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. And on a Monday, our lunch partner, our friends over at 30 Hop. Today, $5.99 classic burgers. It's your new go-to. If you haven't been out there, it's an unbelievable spot with expansive patios. We keep telling you, on a nice day, the patios are awesome at both the Lee Summit or the brand new Merriam location. In Merriam, it's just over at Grand Station, that new area. It's beautiful with some stuff they have done there in terms of development. It's an American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, an unbeatable happy hour. You can stop in for lunch, stay for a little happy hour. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio. We're going to hear from Josh Simmons in a couple of minutes as well, but I want to go back, obviously, to what we started What's Trending with and what we heard from Andy Reid with Felix Anudike-Uzomah. For starters, hamstring strain, likely head to the IR. That's pretty stunning in its own right. We don't know the severity. Clearly, it's very severe to do that. He was someone, we were talking with Nate Taylor at camp, that his job was not 100% locked to make the roster. Not that anybody wants anybody to get hurt, but this is a player that obviously, as a first-round pick from a couple of years ago, unfortunately falls now undoubtedly in the category as one of the biggest busts, if not the biggest bust, in the Brett Veach era. That's just the reality. I hate it for the kid. He's a local kid, a K-State grad. I'm just talking about the reality of the situation of where he was picked, and now the opportunity isn't even there for him anymore this year to try to show that there's some growth. He's not going to even have that shot because clearly it's a serious enough injury that they think they're going to have to put him on IR, which would be a season ender.
And if it ends his season, then two things are true. We've probably already seen the last snap he'll play as a Kansas City Chief, in my opinion, because you'd be 3 years into a 4-year deal with almost no progression or very little progression in play. Not none. Very little progression in play, and now a season coming off a major injury. And he's going to go down as the single worst draft pick of Brett Veach's entire history at this point.
It's only him and Speaks. Speaks wasn't a first rounder. Speaks only played 1 year.
Yeah.
It's
but he was picked in the 60s.
Close. Yeah, it's close. I think the draft pick spot would lean you towards FAU.
Would break the tie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's close because one guy literally only played 1 year. I mean, Breland Speaks played 1 year, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then he went to Jacksonville, I think, for a cup of coffee. And then he's played actually well for the UFL or something? He was like a defensive player of the year or
He
something?
picked up an NFL tryout, if you remember, based on the fact that he was the defensive player in the year in the UFL.
Yeah.
Look, for Felix himself, setting aside, feel horrible for the person.
Sure.
You get drafted your hometown team. You get to do all this stuff. This should be like a resounding moment in your life that you would hope leads to incredible things. Unfortunately for him now, he's got 2.5 sacks in 2 years, and now he's going to be hurt for the entire year. And I hate to say this,
It wasn't having a great camp either. Let's be real about it.
Or a good preseason. And so, I get stuck in this thing, and when you look at it, you're like, normally when injuries happen, you're like, ooh, how does this affect the team? And this sounds mean. Not much.
It's a depth thing. It's a depth thing.
Yeah, it injures their depth. But Gold, do you feel like, do we even have to have the conversation? Does this change your expectations overall for the defense? No, it means if you have an injury, it's a little harder to cover now that Felix is gone. But he wasn't going to be a major player.
He's going to play a couple snaps a game. He's going to play a couple snaps a game. I mean, his best moment obviously is the great play he made on a run play in the Super Bowl. That's the highlight. That's the highlight of his tenure in Kansas City to this point, and now maybe that is the highlight period. I don't know, right? Someone's asking a question I just don't think we have the answer to. How do you miss a season with a strain? Please explain. We're not doctors. I'm just telling you what Andy Reid said. Hamstring strain, likely to go on IR.
Severe would be
clearly,
my guess.
Yeah, that's that. When he officially gets placed on IR, we'll see if the designation changes. I don't think he misspoke. I think he knows what he's saying when it comes to the injury report. So hamstring strain, yeah, I don't know. Our reaction admittedly was kind of similar. We're like, really, a strain is putting you out for the whole. It clearly is very severe.
Yeah, and I see somebody mentioning Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's like, well, Edwards-Helaire, I mean, he was a lead back in the NFL at least for a year. His rookie year went really well, and he was a productive player. He felt he would be on the list. But, I mean, Clyde played 4 seasons for this team and managed to accrue, I don't know, a couple thousand yards in his career. I'm not saying he had some tremendous career, but a couple thousand yards and 12 touchdowns is certainly better than barely getting on the field, which does speak a little bit to it. Look, you're going to miss. This is not like an indictment on Brett Veach, who has done this. What's weird is the way this has changed. Could you imagine any universe, Gold, in which we would call a first-round pick a total bust who'd won 2 Super Bowls with this team? In his first 2 years in the NFL, he won back-to-back Super Bowls. Felix Anudike-Uzomah has played 2 years in the NFL. He's only
you'd have thought he'd been a big part of it. Yeah,
he was only in he didn't miss the first one, but he won one, so he won a Super Bowl. Won one and lost in another one. You would think that he was a regular contributor. This is where I actually give Brett Veach a lot of credit before this just turns into a Brett Veach indictment hour. Really great teams will also miss picks all the time, right? It happens all the time. They will miss picks. The difference is that really great GMs will make other picks that will make up for the loss. And so when you're like, well, boy, how do they mess up their first overall pick, 31st overall, standing out there in front of the entire Kansas City to take that pick, right? How do you miss that one and not feel the weight of it? Well, it's because you took Rashee Rice in round 2 and Connor, who plays for you a lot, or the year before when you took McDuffie and Karlaftis and Williams and Watson and all the other.
For even more clarity, 913-586-7965. I've seen a lot of text about the IR rule. So here's the here's the exact reason why. Like for those that are asking about how it works. So if you are placed on the IR before the start of the regular season, you can miss the entire season unless they are designated to return when the roster is trimmed to 53. They're not going to do that for him because this is not the same as in season. They would have to designate him, and he would have to, at that point in time, when they trim it to 53 prior to the start of the season. It sounds like that's not what they believe. It's not a 100% thing. It's a 95% thing.
If Andy's saying it in a press conference, they're going to put him on IR.
Yeah.
It's not, if he's saying they're probably going to put him on the IR, he's going to the IR. And that's, we very well might have seen the end of Felix's time in Kansas City as a result of it, which,
we'll find out when they officially.
Very big bummer.
We'll find out when they officially place him on it. Andy used the word likely. Yeah, it usually means it's going to happen, but we'll wait to see when it officially happens and get the official confirmation on the IR rule. But that's why they're talking about being out for the season.
Why? The only part that puts conspiracy theory in the mind is what the text line is pointing out here as well, which is if it is a strain, I think put him on the IR for. Can't just put him on the PUP and then just hope to get him back later? It feels like there's always been this overhanging thing that we don't talk a lot about on air, where it didn't ever felt like Felix fit in with everybody on defense necessarily either, Gold. Not like from just like it didn't seem like they had a way to use him efficiently. So I don't know.
I understand the idea. Here's it, for those who are talking stashing him and stuff. He hasn't been that good. Number 2, we don't know the grade of the strain. Is it grade 1, grade 2, grade 3? If it's grade 3 is the worst, by the way. If it's that, it can be months.
Yeah, it can be.
So I don't know.
Hope he finds another.
If it's a grade 3 strain, then it makes more sense. We don't have the answer to that.
It also opens up that roster spot you guys are talking about, where if it is a grade 3 and he's not able to physically try to be back until November, at that point, you're almost better off just.
You don't want to be holding the spot hostage.
Yeah.
Man, someone says you're dragging the kid through the mud. I'm sorry, it's the reality of the situation. It sucks that he's hurt. We've acknowledged that. He was picked 32nd overall.
31st? Was that the year where there was no 32nd pick?
Fine. The Dolphins cheated, so there was 31st. Whatever. Whatever.
I was just trying to remember.
But yeah, it was the last pick of the first round. How about that?
Yeah, basically a second round pick.
Then we know we're right.
And he has not lived up to that draft pick. There's a lot of reasons that go into that. It's the reality of the NFL. Nothing we have said is not just reality of the situation of how teams make draft picks and sometimes you swing and miss sometimes. And he was a swing and miss, and it sucks that he's hurt. But he, before the injury, also wasn't. This is not just because of the injury. This was a guy that, unfortunately, has not developed into the player that they thought he would be. That's just the reality of the situation. Sorry.
The other part is that I truly feel like
this is the NFL. We're not talking about your kid making a high school team. We're not talking about an 18-year-old. This is the NFL. He's getting paid millions of dollars. There's an expectation, and also in how you discuss performance. Sorry.
The only part I would defend Felix on related to this is I thought he was put in a horrible spot by the organization. The whole, let's draft the hometown kid, fireworks going off in the background. I still firmly believe that Clark had an influence on them making that pick at 31 versus trading down because of Kansas City and the moment and the draft in Kansas City and all of that stuff. So I thought he was put in a disadvantageous position in the league. But he's had more than enough opportunity to just become a good NFL player. Just even a good NFL player. And to this point, he hasn't turned into that. And I know it stinks because he's a hometown kid. He went to K-State. So there's so many people in Kansas City rooting for him. And that's why I said, I hope he takes this injury. And if he has to go to a new team, he finds a fresh start and a good landing spot and becomes a good NFL player for someone else. Not rooting against the kid. But the reason why it might be the last snap he took in Kansas City is because he largely has just failed here. It has not worked. He's got 3 career sacks in what will end up being 3 years if he gets placed on the IR here officially soon. He'll have a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl loss as a part-time player. For the 31st overall pick, it's just not.
You got to get more than that. You just have to. That's just the reality of how the NFL works. And whether we were in Kansas City or talking about another team's first-round pick not panning out and not producing, we'd be saying that player's a bust. That's just where he's at. As far as long-term future, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, he still very likely could be in camp next year with the team and things like that. But anyway, if you're just joining us, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, according to Andy Reid himself, likely headed to the IR with a hamstring strain. We were talking offensive line for a little bit before that news came out. And, of course, Josh Simmons continues to be like the number one story and hopefully a huge bright spot as the season gets going here very, very soon. This is what Josh Simmons himself had to say moments ago about a couple preseason games.
I didn't know you wanted me to play it, so laugh at me momentarily while I pull it up. There you go.
Hey, Josh, after getting a couple of the preseason games in your belt now, how do you feel? Like, is it different than maybe you were thinking a couple of weeks ago? Do you feel like there's been some progression for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great piece that you can take to practice every week and kind of build off of. And I think it's great for a rookie because you don't know what the speed of the NFL is. Like, the preseason is still different from week one. So if I could just take the little baby nuggets that I'm getting in the preseason and work on it for week one, it'll be good.
Are there some things you've already taken away that you want to work on and improve going forward?
Absolutely. I think just really right now, me being as fresh as I am in here, just working on everything. No matter if it's like something athleticism, hand striking, just work on everything.
How important is the communication, not just even between like you and Kingsley, but even between you and Creed or Pat when it comes to the calls and everything?
Yeah, so I'm doing more of my communication, like usually with Kingsley or Creed and stuff like that, but it's vital. It's like you need that. Without that, I mean, you won't win any games or move any D lineman if you can't communicate, because then you're not going in the right direction.
Josh, I assume you go into week one, whenever, week two, whatever, knowing that there's going to be some stuff that you haven't seen before as far as blitzes and that sort of thing. How do you sort of prepare for the unknown? Is it just a lot of film watching? What's that process for you?
Yeah, film watching and then just kind of playing like every O-line group does indie, and then you can just kind of put yourself in that, real third down in Brazil kind of situation going against the Chargers, and then you just kind of go from there, just kind of putting yourself in the situation, practice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you felt like you've gotten more out of practice so far, or the times you've been in the preseason games? What's been the best learning stuff for you?
I would say a mixture of both. Being able to go preseason and having that meeting right after, and then being able to take it to the field and then clean it up. That whole process, I think, is what's works the best for me.
Do you feel like you've played enough so far in the preseason? I think you guys are going to play some on Friday, but you want more?
I absolutely want more of that. We had, I think, one drive last, for Seahawks, and I was like, there's no way. Because then you get warm and you're just like, yeah, you're done. You're like, oh, okay.
How do you evaluate those few snaps you got against the Seahawks?
For me personally, obviously Coach Heck will give me everything I need to know. But for me, I try to go technique, and then really just communicating. Obviously, you can't see, but just try to be over communicative that way. We're going in the right direction.
Can you think back through training camp and even 2 preseason games where there was a aha moment? I got this. This is nothing. This is second nature to me.
In preseason,
or even over the last month, was there a moment where you thought in your head, yeah, I got it?
I wouldn't say it was an I got it, but it was something. The cadence, like the way you got to be on time with that, because these speed rushers are extremely athletic. So one tick late, and he'll be at Pat's front door in like a second. So you got to get off, even if you got to go with the cadence, literally time it up perfectly, but you can't be late with the cadence. That's probably my only aha moment.
Has there been any work as far as, your stance? It's because, sometimes tackles can have a tendency to sometimes tip plays a little bit. Have you had any concerns about that?
I do. It's tipping a lot of defenses, and me just kind of kicking my foot back there. Nobody, maybe except Joe Thomas, can run block out of that. So I've been working on a lot. Just kind of square it up and be more universal with my stance. That way defenses aren't, it's pass. So.
You feel like you're better at that now than you were maybe at the beginning of camp?
We're working on it for sure, because I'm trying to get back in the pass set to the spot. These guys are a little faster than college, but yeah, it'll be fixed for sure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Josh.
So that was Josh Simmons just talking about the first couple games in preseason, at least for him, and mentioning, he was asked if he feels like he's gotten enough time or whatever. I think we're all gonna that'll truly be determined by the time we get to week 1 and he's in Brazil and he's playing the Chargers. And does he look?
He's a starter, no doubt. We don't have to worry about
no
that.
question.
Like,
Yeah, that
he's definitely the left tackle.
since day 1 of camp, that has basically been locked in. The fact that he was available, and now it's truly going to be of a timing thing and overall. How does he get used to that first game in a really, really tough environment? That's there's different layers in the test. Like not only going up against a good edge rusher, but what happens when he's in like a truly hostile environment? I don't know if Brazil really will be that. It's a neutral site. What happens when their first big road game? Like even the Giants, I don't know if I'll count that one unless the Giants are off to a 2-0 start or something. Like what's the big game in, the first game in Denver, the first game on the road in Buffalo?
What is
like
their first really tough?
I mean,
their neutral site, Philly.
Tough road
game.
Home, Giants? What is their first tough road game? That's a good question.
Does it matter about the road game or does it matter more about the D-line? Because I think
I said both.
Because I think to me the Eagles game in game 2 is the one where you're facing the D-line that just won the Super Bowl. Everybody's back. This is where we're going to really see it. Like how I know it's only week 2, but to what he said too, would you? I don't think Pat's going to play the whole quarter, even though I don't think it's going to happen. Would you leave him out for the whole quarter just to try to get him? I know that you're a little bit weary maybe because of the knee, but him saying, I just barely got warm and then I'm taken out already, like just to give him one extra drive.
Probably. He stayed out for an extra drive in the first game.
If the Bears starters are still out there for whatever reason, maybe.
They'll leave the O-line out there for one series longer than Patrick, most likely. That's still what they've been willing to do, even going back to the first preseason game. No, I'm with you that, as I said, there's different tests throughout the season. One of them is facing an edge rusher, right? That's elite. The other test I was saying was is the first real hostile environment. No, I'm with you that.
What is that one then?
That's what we were in the process.
Well, the first
can't be the Giants.
The first elite level defensive end, week 2 against Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's what Drew was saying.
Yeah, you'll get your hands full as much as you want there. And like you mentioned, the Giants and these other ones. The first difficult road environment, I wish I was kidding, is not until week 9 at Buffalo. Seriously, go through it. And I hadn't thought about that, really. Chargers is neutral site. Philly at home. Giants is not a difficult road environment. Ravens at home. Jags isn't a difficult road environment.
Yeah.
Lions at home. Raiders at home. Commanders at home. Bills on the road. He'll have 8 full games of work in.
Just from an atmosphere. There's some good defensive fronts.
From an atmosphere.
We know the Eagles front. Heck, the Giants, as bad as they are as an overall team, their defensive front's no joke. So they will have plenty of tests in terms of personnel. We're just saying, when's it personnel and a ridiculous environment? Sounds like Buffalo. Yeah.
Week 9.
Buffalo and the Broncos back-to-back weeks.
The Broncos are the biggest one.
By one between them. But those are the two that at least you're getting some juice in there. And again, they've got a lot of difficult defensive lines.
All right, up next, we'll talk a little bit about something that happened over the weekend. It also ties into our random question of the day, plus the latest with Rashee Rice. Andy Reid was asked about it as well. That's coming up here on 96.5 The Fan.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
You guys know we are glad that our training camp coverage is over for this year. We'll be excited by the time we get back there next year. But you know why they call it training camp, Cody? Because, they don't just talk about it. They train to do the exact job skills that they need, and that's the same thing for Centric.
Not physically trained like Drew. Train your brain in as little as 4 months. That's how quickly you can get your career in IT. Centric's been training grads in Kansas City for years, getting them ready. They love getting new people in new careers, love getting people, think about it. You're sitting outside on Saturday. Imagine if you were working in that on Saturday. Get that career in IT in as many fields as you want, because it's not just one field. You can work across the board.
Yeah, they train you on the exact job skills you'll need to be a cybersecurity specialist over at Centric. They do it in just 4 months, not 4 years. Get started today, and you can be on your new career path before the playoffs even start. How about that? Reach out to our friend Russ. Go to Centric.com.
This is Danon Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane & Hughes. VG Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
On Tuesday, August 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for every single football fan. It's 24 hours of deals, and you know I love a deal, on all your football season predictions. So take a flyer on who you think is going to win MVP. Take a flyer on who you think is going to win the championship this year, and you can parlay your division dark horse candidates. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, your odds. You guys always tell me what you think. This time, put your money where your mouth is. All you need to do is visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. So if you like Patrick Mahomes to win MVP, this is the time to take him. Or if you think the Chiefs are heading back to the big game, August 28th is a day for you. Because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and present in Kansas. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. It's KansasGamblingHelp.com.
Football is back. Labor Day is around the corner, and Hy-Vee is ready for fall. Stock up on all your fall favorites during the gigantic 3-day sale this Friday through Sunday. Invite your friends and fire up the grill with Bar S Franks just 98 cents a pack. Doritos chips just $2.99, Pepsi 24-pack cans for $10.99, and Brew Pub Pizza just $4.99 each. Let's go, you fans of fall. Rush to the gigantic 3-day sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee. If you're crazy for craft beer, a connoisseur of Cabernet, or master of the margarita, Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits has a huge selection in stock and competitively priced. From value bottles of wine starting at $3.99 to top shelf liquors, get 10% off when you mix and match 6 or more bottles. Hy-Vee's knowledgeable and friendly staff is here to help, or place your order through aisles online for added convenience. Low price, selection, service, and convenience. There's more to love at Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 5-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley
Financial Group.
Los Angeles will head south down the 5 to visit their neighbors and division rivals, San Diego. The rivalry's been heated over the past few seasons as both teams have fought their way to the playoffs. And this season is no different. The two teams match up really well against each other, and they remain within a few games of each other for the lead in their division. Who will come out of the weekend series with a win? Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right it almost feels wrong. Because right now you can get huge savings on our most popular models, including our adventure-ready SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe and Santa Fe Hybrid models. Or go all electric and choose from America's most awarded EV lineup like the breakthrough Ioniq 5 or Ioniq 6. So get down to your local Hyundai dealer and get away with a great deal. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 8 minutes or so. It relates to an experience over the weekend, something that some of you might have also had the same situation play out on Saturday afternoon/evening in Kansas City as well. So we'll get to that. You guys can always chime in on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Don't forget on Mondays to check out our friends over at 30 Hop, our lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Great deal on Mondays. $5.99 classic burgers. It doesn't get anybody much better than that. Just $5.99 classic burgers. They're no new go-to, an American bar and kitchen with bold flavors. Keep telling you about the patios, local taps out in Lee Summit, just down the road from us in Merriam. They're a proud lunch partner of the show. You can stop in for lunch, stay for a happy hour. The menu has something for everybody. It is a vast menu. We've tried multiple dishes from there. 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio. Last week, we talked a lot about Rashee Rice and the latest with the hearing and why is it September 30th.
And then the conspiracies around it from Mike Florio and others.
And I think that part of it at least got debunked, like, truly from the NFL Network themselves, because Tom Pelissero on Friday afternoon, actually I think it was like 5:45 by the time this news came out, mentioned that the NFL, they're the ones that basically have caused this delay. They wanted a 10-plus game suspension, to which the NFLPA and Rashee Rice said, yeah, there's no precedent for that. So therefore, we need to have a hearing. Here's the full details.
Rashee Rice pled guilty last month to 2 third-degree felony charges stemming from a car crash at high speeds back in March of 2024. The expectation is Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for a portion of the 2025 season. The question now is how much? My understanding is the NFL initially proposed a lengthy suspension, double-digit games for Rashee Rice. The Players Union and Rashee Rice's attorney and agents argued for a much shorter suspension, in part because there is no precedent for suspending someone for over half the season in a case like this. So as you mentioned, there is a September 30th hearing set before former federal judge Sue L. Robinson, who previously heard the initial Deshaun Watson case several years ago here. But there is still a possibility that the sides could come together and agree to a settlement on a suspension that would allow Rice to be suspended at the start of the season. If not, then he would be eligible for at least those first 3 games. But given the fact that not only the decision-making process, but potential appeals could extend that process into October or November if it goes before Judge Robinson, this is something then that could potentially jeopardize his availability for the postseason. A lot to consider as this case moves forward.
The postseason thing would be just ridiculous and
that would be
unreal.
Insane.
That's what obviously fans across the NFL want to have happen that are not in Kansas City and all this. I'm sure that would make their week and make their day. But as far as the latest update, I guess there's still a chance that he's suspended week 1 if they were to reach a settlement before the hearing. But
what's the number they would both accept? I think Rashee would accept 6.
And we think that we might be like, they might be thinking they can still get this thing to 4. I don't think through a hearing and then an eventual appeal potentially that this isn't like 6 at this point. Like I'll be thrilled and shocked almost if it's below 6 at this point. The league wants 10 or more. We don't know if that's 12, if it's 10 or 15. We have no idea, right? They want more than 10 according to Tom Pelissero. But the timeline is what's really tricky. If they don't reach a settlement, so September 30th is going to happen. It could be 2 weeks after that before the judge rules. Then the NFL could say, yeah, we don't like that you ruled 5. Then they appeal. It honestly could be middle of November before suspension starts. That's crazy. What we don't know is the judge going to be lenient? Just because she was lenient on the Deshaun Watson thing does not mean that she's going to side. Different cases. This one, she has 2 felonies to look at versus no criminal conviction,
and
obviously,
the scene of a crime
on the Deshaun Watson thing. Not saying Watson's situation wasn't serious and everything that went with those allegations, but this is actually a player that has criminal charges that pled guilty to 2 felonies. So she may not, even though there's no precedent, she may not side as favorable to the player as maybe she did on the initial Deshaun Watson ruling.
There is no precedent because there is no case exactly like this one. We have incidences of players speeding dangerously, but we do not have one where they speed dangerously, cause an accident, and then leave said scene of crime of said accident, and will have to spend time in jail as a result of the accident. All of that definitely made me think it was always going to be more than just the normal person who gets in trouble and gets multiple games like Addison did, right, in 3. I always thought it was more than that. But I was quite surprised on Friday when I saw that the NFL wanted to hit him with 10. And I imagine that if I were the Chiefs or Rashee Rice or his lawyer or the NFLPA, I'd be like, pump the brakes here for a minute. What? Like, we have people who get in real trouble for crazy things all the time in this league. And we bury them and we're quiet about it. And you're here to tell me that because the guy got into a car accident, a very dangerous one, in which he hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's
but this
that's
is the problem.
downplaying a little bit.
I'm not trying to downplay it. What I'm saying is, like, if I were, this is the argument I'd be making if I were the NFLPA,
okay.
is that we have all kinds of incidents. And you're telling me that somebody who may have sexually assaulted 30 different masseuses.
Right, but they were never convicted, Cody.
I understand.
I'm not defending them, but they weren't convicted. This has actual charges. But go ahead.
I totally understand. You're trying to tell me that these are on par. Or the other criminal cases. There's other criminal cases. People have been busted with a lot of different stuff over a lot of different stuff in domestic violence and others, and they don't want to go 1 for 1. 10 is coming in heavy.
Yeah,
that's coming in swinging a stick. And that's what's surprising to me is, like, you didn't even, like, try to go for the number you thought maybe they'd kind of take. You knew when you came in with 10, they weren't going to take that. You knew they weren't going to go anywhere near that.
And he has the right via what's collectively bargained. He has the right to appeal. That's why the conspiracy stuff about the league trying to intentionally make sure he can play week 1 was ludicrous because it's the process that everybody's allowed, and also it's the NFL's depending on your standpoint or view, I should say, the NFL's very, very strong punishment that they want. You know, I think this is very, very complicated because there is, no apples to apples comparison, but also the fact that we are talking about jail time and 2 felonies that he pled guilty to, that's different than just allegations or civil suits and things like that.
Or just getting a ticket for going 140 like Addison
if he just got a ticket, he'd be getting 2-3 games.
He wouldn't even get suspended. Addison got the ticket and didn't get suspended. It was the most recent.
Yeah, the driving under the influence. Yeah.
He drove 140 miles an hour and didn't receive a single game. That's the problem. This is where, like, Gold, I think if you're a judge, and, like, I understand there's different criminal stuff that comes with that, because if you speed at 140 miles an hour and don't cause an accident, that's a different thing. Then you cause a crash, you hurt people. There are other criminal charges that come with it. But from an NFL perspective, they're trying to treat it like that too. And I'm not sure, because we don't have any precedent in it, what the judge is going to have to say about that. I know that there's additional criminal stuff that comes with it. That's why felonies and jail time and all that stuff. How does the NFL view it? Clearly very seriously. They think that the difference between the action causing a problem and not causing a problem is a 3-fold, 4-fold suspension.
I think the fact the Henry Ruggs thing existed, the terrible incident that someone lost their life, is also why the NFL may be trying to come down very, very hard on this because of that incident already taking place. And Henry Ruggs obviously is behind bars. Someone says the league let Ruggs back. No, they haven't.
He's still in jail.
He's still behind bars. There's obviously reports that he might
I think
be able
parole
to
is
leave prison earlier or whatever, however they want to phrase it. But no, the league hasn't let Henry Ruggs back in. He literally is behind bars as we sit here and talk right this second. So no, the league has not let Henry Ruggs back in.
Does the potential for it to be included in the playoffs make Rasheed say, you know what, even if it's 8, I just want to get it done. Like, get it done. It's behind me, fully and completely. Never have to think about it again.
I don't think he'd accept 8, man. I don't think he'd accept.
Is it worth the risk to know that it is?
I think there's almost no way that the
judge.
We don't know what's going to happen in a case. I think there's almost no way that this judge would decide that 8 is fair.
I don't know. I don't think we can. I don't think.
We have no idea.
Yeah, like I know.
I don't.
Yeah,
I understand. I don't know.
I know. I'm saying if they settled, like if the NFL said, you know what, we'll do 8 before they even get to the trial or whatever it is, but before they get to that meeting, does Rasheed? He's like, you know what? I'm going to take my 8. I'm not even going to. It's taking too much time. I'll start it at the beginning of the season. We'll ride it out, and then I'll be done with it. And I'll be able to play in Week 9 against Buffalo, and I'm not going to have to worry about this ever again.
Here's the thing, though. You know, we talked to Nate Taylor about it last week. You know, as much as we say, like, the player, the team, who has the say, ultimately it's up to Rashee Rice and his representation whether or not they're willing to, you know, other than the
Chiefs
final.
Can't give an opinion.
Like, you know, Andy Reid, you know, we asked Nate Taylor. He said maybe in years prior, Andy Reid would have had more influence in, like, trying to convince the player to just take a certain suspension or whatever it may be. Like, this is more of a Rashee Rice decision at some point in time, whether or not, you know, they want to continue appeal. Like, that also is already playing out. He clearly has already kind of told us a little bit. Clearly, 10 games or double-digit games is not acceptable to him. And so he's fighting it. He's going through the system that he is allowed to go through via the collectively bargained agreement, which is to appeal, essentially, or have a disciplinary hearing.
It kind of feels like if Rashee wants 4 and he wants 10, like the NFL wants 10 and Rashee wants 4,
then you're not settling at 8.
6 to 7 feels like the logical landing point.
But is the NFL willing to settle? See, that's the other thing.
The NFL wanted a year. She said 5. They settled on 10. So the NFL got the advantage of the appeal process with her. Then they said, not hard enough. Go harder.
Yeah, but again, that took an appeal. So that's the same thing here. Let's say this judge says 6. The NFL wanted 12, let's say. So she says 6 for Rice. Does the NFL say 6 is not enough again? It goes to an appeal, and then that judge, that arbiter, says, okay, 9 is actually fair. And then we're stuck at 9. Meanwhile, it's already November 10th. That's the worst case scenario type of stuff.
Is it worth it going into the playoffs to save yourself 2 games in the regular season? Because I don't know what those games would be exactly, but is it worth it to risk not playing in a wild card or in a divisional round game because you want to try to salvage the extra 2 games that you
had he played all season last year? This answer might be different. But because he missed all of last season, he might be feeling different than that now, Drew. He only has a year to get paid.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, Drew, text line 913-586-7965. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Live stream the show. Like and subscribe over on YouTube or Twitch. Pop to the top of your feed and watch this show live. This question comes courtesy of Alex Gold's very personal experience on Saturday. So for those who weren't at the current game or weren't following it on social media, what happened to you on Saturday?
So the KC Current, I have season tickets. Love going to games. I've had season tickets for multiple years now. And a little backstory, I was going with somebody that is from the UK and was in town, obviously a big soccer fan. And so that is needed to point out when you realize how long I waited, because you might be like, why didn't you just leave? The reason was I was with somebody that was in from out of town. So that's why. But basically, the game was going to start 3 o'clock, national CBS game, KC Current versus Orlando Pride. 3 o'clock hits. All of a sudden, there's a PA announcement that says, due to inclement weather, the game is being delayed. And so I'm not even kidding, in the concourse, everybody looked up at the sky at first. Like, wait.
Is there like something I missed?
So then very quickly, like, oh, it must be because of heat. And it was.
It was very hot.
I texted somebody and found out it was for the heat. But at the time, for, I don't know, at least 15 minutes, there was no...
You could text somebody, so people just didn't know.
Yeah, so everybody's in the stadium, and for 15 plus minutes initially, there's no other update. It's just literally like, it just says, delayed. No countdown, nothing. Then eventually there's an announcement that we are doing wet bulb testing, which I'll be honest, I learned something on Saturday. I guess it's been around I was not
familiar.
familiar.
Kink shame on this show. Wet bulb testing?
Wet bulb testing. It has to do with like how quickly your body can the sweat evaporates or something. It's like this little device that just spins around on the field, and it has a gauge and a temperature. It has to be below 92 or 92.5 degrees. And so it wasn't. And it was above that 93, 92.9 or whatever it was, okay? And so this goes on for a little bit. Finally, I don't know, 3:30 or so, we get some cloud cover. You're like, yes. It goes down to 91. So like, okay. They bring everybody back out on the field. So you're thinking, oh, we got a shot. But they're like, we got to do another test in like 5 minutes to make sure. Of course, that next test, it's too high. The players go back in the locker room. They had said they thought they were going to start at 3:45. That didn't happen. Next thing you know, we're in the 4 o'clock hour. They keep doing these tests. It's 4:15. It's 4:30. Finally, there's an announcement.
So they just do one every 15 minutes?
Essentially. Finally.
Do you see them do the test?
Yes. It's right there in the middle of the field. Yeah. Which I always joke. I joke, can they not just put that device in the shade instead? Look, I understand why the rule exists. You got to keep the players safe. My issue is
I watched the Chiefs play and like.
I understand. It's just, it's a deal that the league has collectively bargained, thinking of that. Okay. I understand the safety of the players. I think the issue that a lot of people had was the communication, and then also, what about the safety of the fans, right? Like, you're asking fans to sit out there in the same heat. I understand they're not running around, but still, these people are not in shape. We're just normal people here, okay? All ages, okay? All ages. Some people are in their 80s. Some people are little kids, whatever. So this goes on. Eventually, Cody, they finally announce that the game is not starting till 6:30, and you can leave. They had some of the star players come out and thank the fans and say, hey, we didn't want this to be delayed. All right, so 3.5 hour delay. It was absolutely absurd.
You stuck through it?
Stuck through it because I was with somebody. So the Current obviously has taken a ton of heat for this, and I think maybe communication-wise they could have been better.
The social media communication was lacking.
I think, though, truly who is responsible and who should be getting the most heat, and I think it's greed, it's the NWSL, which is the league, and CBS, the TV partner. If this game, Cody, was not on CBS, there's no chance that the Current would not have just moved the game time earlier in the day, or the night before they would have moved it to 7 o'clock start or something.
Because it was prime time.
So I believe, my understanding, talking with people as well, is the league and CBS were pushing that 3 o'clock national window game. Got to have this game. Oh, we got to get this game in. And after it all settled, the game was never on national TV. Fans were ticked off. And the game
was there anyone left in the stands?
There was like maybe, I would say 70% of people had left.
So the random question I guess I have is, what is the longest you've waited for something and actually stayed? Most recently, the longest wait I've had is when I had to wait like 2.5 hours at the DMV, but I had no choice there. Life was life, and I had to wait for it.
Those waits are terrible.
That one was pretty bad. I once waited 3.5 hours the first week the Mamba opened to ride a ride. That probably feels like at the peak of maybe all my waiting in the history of time.
But that's different. That's your, like, that's, you knew there was going to be a wait.
Dude, there were signs everywhere. I knew how long it was going to take me to get on the Mamba.
That's the issue with this thing at the game is, like, if you would have told people, the fact that there was no announcement for the delay till 3 o'clock at game time, if they would have said at 2 o'clock, hey, the game's going to be delayed, you can leave, come back at 7 o'clock or whatever, that's the biggest issue.
So I'm curious, does this include being allowed to leave and then come back?
No. The question I'm asking for the random question is,
you have to have been there the entire time.
Versus, like, they say it's an 8-hour start and then you come back. Not counting as waiting. Okay. I want waiting as in you were on the premises the entire time for the purposes of the question.
Yeah, I think it's more for sports because you're naming non-sports stuff. Like, for me, my answer then is back in early 2000s, I was from 3 a.m. to whatever, waiting in line at a Hastings for an Nintendo GameCube, okay? You know, like
that's the kind of answers I'm looking for.
But that is, like, truly my choice, and also I knew what I was getting myself into.
Yeah,
when people showed up to the game on Saturday at 2:20, they did not have any reason to believe the game was not going to start at 3 o'clock. This is not the same as a thunderstorm popping up and all of a sudden lightning, and that's the issue.
As a Rose Insider, I think I waited through a 3.5 hour long delay, but I wasn't allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Or to be clear, I would have, as correctly pointed out by the text line, Vinny also couldn't handle the heat on Saturday.
Yeah, he had to leave. Up.
Dude, his tweet, A plus.
Very good.
His tweet referencing
great.
the Ichiro comment of 2 rats and a wool sock in this town. It's an all-time great quote about this city. I love that cut from the Bob Costas interview. Him referencing that after having to leave the game for heat-related illness is
great pull. It was very dangerous on Saturday. Like, I mean, you have a professional athlete in that case.
That's the problem. It's like they're saying they can't play, but you're just out here cooking.
Yeah, it was not. It was a mess. I think a lot of people are to blame. I still think if that game was not on national TV, the Current would have just moved the game time like a day or two earlier or something. Like it's just that's the
Didn't even
issue.
get a goal, man.
Yeah, then it was a draw after all that.
A 0-0
And look, I love
too, which
and I
is
love
tough.
going to games there.
They're great.
I just think the
Atmosphere's
league and the TV network failed miserably. And yes, the Current could have communicated better as well. I just think their hands were tied with what the league and CBS were forcing them to do. But
From the 913, I had to wait for over 24 hours for my stubborn son to make his appearance into this world. Hey,
Man,
jeez.
Because both of our kids were C-sections, it was literally like we just made an appointment. You show up at 9. Kid was born at like 9:10. Both kids. Like no waiting, no sitting around, no fuss. Show up. She gets an. Now look, more fuss for her. She had to go through.
I was going to say, yeah, it was easy for you, Cody.
I mean,
easy
from
for
a
you.
schedule.
Easy
From
for
a
you.
schedule
Both
perspective.
of them, Cody. That's crazy.
From a schedule perspective, it was simple. Not obviously having your entire insides thrown onto a table. Not so simple.
Thank you for the description of what happens. Thank you.
You ever seen a C-section? Real horror show.
Also, real quick, what
for a health class?
What a crazy question to ask me. Have I ever seen someone get a C? When do you
Not
think
live, just
when
like
do
on
you
a
think-
video.
When do you think I would have seen that in person?
I just like a health class. I mean, like in a video.
Okay.
Not
No.
in person.
No,
I was never.
Neither.
We were never. I was never forced to watch a C-section
You
while I
should.
was in school.
You both
No,
should
I
watch one
don't-
tonight.
No, that's weird. No,
I don't want to.
You should know
and
about the human
respect
body.
to all the women out there,
I'm good. Thank you.
but I don't. Yeah, I'm okay.
You should know what they're going through.
So my answer was going to be the same answer from the 913. There was a NASCAR race last year, the closest finish in NASCAR history, by the way, here at Kansas Speedway.
All right.
There was a long rain delay. I ended up going back home before coming back. So my answer would have been this, where it would have been a healthy 5-hour rain delay. The answer that I have actually is another NASCAR race. My dad and I were at Texas, and there was a rain delay, probably 3.5 or 4 hours, where we were there. This is when I was living in Indy. We have nowhere to go. The hotel, we had already checked out of the hotel. This is the day we're going to go see the race, and then we're going to leave. Ended up having to change flights, actually, obviously, because it was a night race instead. But yeah, 4.5 hours of just sitting there, hanging out, doing absolutely nothing.
That's tough.
Great, Cody, you're crazy for what you just suggested. Go home and watch one.
You
also,
should know what people go through.
It is the lunch hour. It is 12:56 in Kansas City.
There are multiple people saying, "I was eating lunch."
There's people in their car right now eating their lunch on their work break, and you're out here talking about things
Cody,
being thrown around in their insides.
We don't have
Stop.
to see it to understand.
We're good. Thank you.
To understand it. I
don't think you're getting all the context.
I'm sure we're not, but I think
I've got it figured out.
I think we're okay.
All right, up next, we get to the 1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold and what Rob Manfred is proposing. We like it. It could be a lot of fun for fans in baseball.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Synergen X and Low T Center have been changing the lives of men across the country for over a decade. Not just talk, it's true. One of my buddies started a few weeks ago, already feeling the changes, and that's what it does. For a lot of guys, it can completely change every aspect of their lives. So you're saying, all right, what does it do? If you've been thinking about your testosterone, you feel like it might be too low, notice maybe you're getting older, more tired, not motivated to do anything, it can just be aging, but it's not. It's physical and it's mental changes to your body, and testosterone can actually help that. Real patients tell us every day, I got my energy back. I feel more motivated to do these things. It's easier to get off the simple things in life. Or somebody even just pointing out that it's like, I'm going to the gym and feeling good about myself again. You know, with Synergen X and Low T Center, TRT changed all of that and can be so much better for you. So Synergen X and Low T clinics have conveniently around town. You have the power to choose if you want to be treated in the clinic or receive at-home treatment. It all starts with a quick test at the center, on-site lab, super easy, and results in as little as 20 minutes. So what are you waiting for, guys? Just imagine how much better you'll feel when you take back your health. Restore your energy and get on with the rest of your life. Book your appointment at fixmylowt.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Well, my drive to St. Joe for camp was definitely not as bad this year, and it continues to be awesome to drive anywhere I need to go thanks to a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford. It was the best drive to camp in 5+ years we've been doing the show. So many features that I love about this truck. If you've watched some social media clips from my Twitter account, X account, you guys have seen me talk about them. But the one favorite feature was Blue Cruise. That's Blue Cruise because they got these blue zones on highways across the country. Basically what that means is a lot of the highways, over 90% of them in the United States and Canada, are part of the blue zones, hands-free driving areas. So about 75% or so, 70% of my drive back from St. Joe, coming back on I-29, I didn't have to have my hands on the wheel. It was essentially self-driving as I made my way back, which was a lot more relaxing. Did not have to deal with being locked in as much and obviously tense as you're driving or anything like that. It was an unbelievable experience. It's my favorite feature. And right now at Shawnee Mission Ford, they have a Labor Day sales event going on. Ford announced 0% for 48 months, no payments for 90 days with approved credit on most new Ford vehicles. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission, and they're proving it during their Labor Day sales event by extending your first payment for 120 days. You don't start paying till 2026, and you still get the 2-year, 25,000 miles maintenance along with top trade value. Now till Labor Day, Shawnee Mission Ford on a mission to do more. See dealer websites for details.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
On Tuesday, August 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your favorite season predictions. So you can take a flyer on the MVP race. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is 6.5 to 1 to win MVP. But further down the board, how about Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Baker Mayfield sitting at 25 to 1? Maybe you want to crown your champion in August for a divisional race. How about taking a flyer on the Jags in the AFC South, sitting at 3 to 1 to win their division? Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and present in Kansas. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsightc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water?
I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
You can listen to the Royals and Tigers Friday, August 22nd on The Fan, AM 610, with Vern's On Deck show starting at 5. KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We were talking to Rob and Carrington during the break. We got college football on Saturday, man. It's
crazy.
We got college football on Saturday. We got KU and Fresno State. You, of course, got K-State, Iowa State, the first game of the year out in Ireland. That's going to be quite the scene. That's going to be really cool. That's become like there's other
Where are you
like
going to go to watch that? Somewhere?
Chick-fil-A kickoff bowl, but like kickoff game, but like now the Dublin this game there has become like the official first game of the year. This is.
I feel like you're kind of obligated if you're watching it in town to go to an Irish pub. Like you should go to Kelly's or something.
Oh.
Yeah,
go to an Irish bar.
I will be waking up at 8 a.m. to go to the sports book in Vegas. We're out there. I think the game kicks off at like 9 o'clock Vegas time, doesn't it?
Yes, 2 hours.
When we're talking about K-State, whatever it is on Thursday or Friday, you guys want to do the Irish accent when talking about?
You go right ahead. You go right ahead.
Okay. Do you want to do
go
yours
right
again?
ahead?
I think we all should.
Yours did not go great.
We should all contribute, I think, to this one.
You go right ahead. That's your favorite accent to do. I know.
How about this? We can give our predictions in an Irish accent. All three of us.
Just our total win predictions for.
We'll see.
No. I was just saying, if you guys just wanted to predict the K-State Iowa State game, it could be 5 seconds of you giving your prediction, but it has to be in the Irish accent. In the Irish.
We'll see.
In dialect.
We'll see.
I can do it. You guys can do it too. We can all embarrass ourselves.
The accent thing is your thing. That's not my thing. I don't do things that are not my thing. I don't like to just steal other people's bits.
He's saying 5 seconds.
I don't steal other people's bits.
He's offering it up.
Yeah.
You're not stealing anything.
Yeah.
I still don't. Your Irish need some work.
A lot of work. Maybe that's what the Duolingo should have been, was the Irish dialect, maybe. Instead.
People are still had their afternoon ruined by your comment, Cody.
Yeah, jeez.
That was a wild thing to say.
I think it's good to know about.
Have you ever watched a C-section? What a weird thing to say.
I think it's important to know about the human body and the way that it works.
Yeah, I don't watch quadruple bypass surgeries. You know what I mean? Like, I don't watch any surgeries that are not like.
Cody's not
you just go. Do you honestly? You go and you watch videos of surgeries?
Not regularly, but I've seen videos of.
You would absolutely. It sounds based on what you're saying. You're
medically
suggesting.
interesting.
You're suggesting
You
that.
watch videos of colonoscopies too.
You're suggesting. You're suggesting that Gold and I do what Kramer and Seinfeld did and go see an actual procedure done there in person.
I think this one's more about the sacrifice. You should know what other people are going
Just don't have junior mints with it, you know.
I don't know that
For
they do.
those who know that.
I don't know that there's medical theater to go visit anywhere in.
That'd be
Kansas City.
very weird.
Very weird. Yeah, agreed.
If just a regular person can be in it, sure. Other doctors, let's go.
I don't think the Irish accent is a terrible idea, by the way. Someone said I'm full of terrible ideas.
So to check Cody's internet history. I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned.
My idea of you guys doing Irish accents is
fine.
way better than your idea of us watching.
Well, I'll give you that.
Way better than that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
You can either watch that tonight or you can do an Irish accent on Thursday. Your choice.
Yikes.
Meanwhile, speaking of ideas, baseball's got one that includes Rob Manfred. Jeff Passan was talking on ESPN earlier today, and then we'll play what Manfred actually had to say, talking about the potential expansion cities that baseball's looking at, and included Nashville. Not shocking, is one of the leaders of the clubhouse because people like the city from a visiting standpoint, and also said that Salt Lake City really impressed Major League Baseball with their presentations as well. The reason why this is coming up, the cities for expansion, is if they expand to 32 teams, Rob Manfred's got an idea about what they should do for it.
In my mind, I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
This was during the Little League World Series broadcast last night when they had the Mariners and the Mets playing.
Did you see that
very cool
they
thing.
clapped hands after?
Yes.
They did the handshake line, Drew, after one of the games for the Little League World Series game.
Major League Baseball does.
I saw Julio almost get hurt.
You've been someone that over the years, you've admitted, obviously been very critical of Rob Manfred. I will say he continues to.
He's been an idea man lately.
Right now, this has been a 4-year thing at this point now. I think really since post-COVID.
He's in his bag.
He's done some very good things. He's done some very good things for the sport the last couple of years. I know he's going to retire in 28, I think.
Something like that.
I think that's the expectation. This would be another one of those, I think, home run, pun intended, type of ideas from Rob Manfred, if in fact they could get the owners on board for it. Yes, it does require 2 expansion teams as well, but think about potentially a division that could have Kansas City with St. Louis and the Cubs and the White Sox, let's say, for just as an example. That would be awesome. I would hope they wouldn't just go Kansas City, St. Louis, and Houston and Texas. That would be a little bit of a bummer. That'd still be fun, but obviously the Chicago element would be neat.
No, I like the way no other sport right now is taking advantage of the regional aspect of rivalry. And to his point, if you live in Boston or New York or Washington or Baltimore, there's a huge teams in the Eastern time zone. Half the league probably is in the Eastern time zone. Once you start including, isn't Cleveland Eastern time? Atlanta?
I believe so, yep.
So, I'll be honest. If I'm a fan of the Braves, I'm never watching them play. I barely can do it. And I'm Midwest. I'm only 2 time zones away. So if you're
look at the preseason Chiefs game on Friday night. It was 9 o'clock here. It would have been 10 o'clock start if you were the Giants were playing or something.
So even though,
New York Giants,
they've reduced the number of games you play against divisional opponents, it still makes up a quarter of your schedule. And if you're doing that, if a quarter of your schedule is in your time zone every time, hell yeah. And regional rivalries where people can drive, fly short flights, do all those things to catch their team, that's going to increase. It's a regional sport. So, simply put, Seattle, Giants, Dodgers, Angels, and San Diego in a division, right? Then you put the A's, Diamondbacks, Rockies, let's say a Salt Lake team, one of the Texas teams in a division. There's an easy way to negotiate. Because if it's 32 teams, 6 divisions, you can't really do 6 divisions, doesn't divide up equally, right? Somebody would have to have a 6-team division. So what you probably do is you do 2 leagues or you do 4 divisions of 8 teams and you put them in regional-based areas, and it's great. Now, if it's only 4 and you're going to go more divisions, or it's 5 to 6 teams, Kansas City's instantly. You get Cardinals, you get Cubs, you get White Sox or Brewers or Twins. Their division itself gets harder, but those are teams, Gold, that you could understand developing a rivalry with. A Royals-Cubs rivalry.
That'd be fun.
Makes more sense than Royals and maybe Twins did, or maybe, it just, some of them, and Cardinals have always been a rivalry because they're in the same state. So, regionalizing it makes so much more sense to me.
There'd be intrigue. There'd be more intrigue.
I think do it. If you can get away with it, do it. The real question is, you think Salt Lake and Nashville are good expansion teams? Salt Lake fills an area of the country that just doesn't have any pro teams, essentially.
It's kind of nuts,
just a
though.
dead zone. Idaho, Wyoming.
You say that, though, but the Jazz, they have a hockey team, an NHL team now.
Yeah,
so they're gonna have.
But just Utah. It's only them, I'm saying. Every other part. That part of the country, there's not enough population to support it.
Yeah, Wyoming, Montana and Idaho are not getting professional, for sure. I'm with you there. Heck, Oregon doesn't have one except for the Trailblazers. So, no, I understand what you're saying. I just think it was crazy. Is in this scenario, Salt Lake City, all of a sudden Utah would have 3 professional teams. That's kind of crazy to think about.
They said Major League Baseball was impressed.
Actually, more than 3. Do they still have? Don't they still have a soccer? Isn't Real Salt Lake still there?
Yes.
If we include them in the grouping, all of a sudden they'd have more pro teams than we have.
We'd have 3 based on that metric, unless you're counting NWSL as well. But MLS, and they probably have an. No, wait.
That's the Utah Royals, which are
Utah
back,
Royals.
but they're back. That was the team that. Yes.
Yes, they do, but they lost them. But now they don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, and they could have a WNBA team for all I know. I don't know all the markets for that just yet.
Yeah,
but
not right now.
Regional-based rivalries make sense. I thought the biggest mistake college football has made in all of this was the idea that pageantry and rivalry is what drove a sport where you're like, I'm watching a less intense thing. So if all of a sudden you tell me the Yankees and Red Sox, but also Yankees and Mets are in a division together with Philly, and honestly, it might be a good balancing of power. Force all the West Coast teams that spend $8 gajillion to be in a division together. Force all the East Coast teams who spend $8 gajillion to be in a division together. And let us little Midwesterners compete with our normal budgets for a playoff spot for the division.
Cubs.
Except Chicago, although the White Sox are in Chicago and they don't treat themselves like a big market team.
Yeah.
The Cubs do, but the White Sox don't.
Yeah, someone was asking on the text line, wouldn't they lose the Royals-Yankees
They're not
rivalry?
a division now.
No, yeah,
You would still play
You're not going to only play your division. They still 162 games are still happening. You're still going to like the Royals. It just is going to change.
The Giants be in a division together.
Yeah, no, the Royals would still play everybody. Everybody would still the interleague crossover or whatever, like that all still would exist. Just the difference is the Royals would play the Cubs 13 times or whatever it is.
How would
I was going to say, which 5 do you want for the AL Central? What 5 would you want? Royals, Cardinals,
Cubs, White Sox.
And do you want Twins, Brewers, or a Texas team?
For competition purposes, maybe the Twins.
I think the Brewers fit.
Brewers just seem like a more fun team.
Oh, the Brewers are more fun, I agree, than the Twins. But if you want to win the division, maybe it.
Someone says you want to force. Someone says you want to force rivalry. Well, the Royals and Cardinals have had a history going back many, many years. So I don't think it's forced.
It
enhances it. It makes it bigger.
If you want to say the Cubs rivalry, yeah, but the geographic location would be the reasoning for it. Like, also, you think that the Royals, like you said, forced rivalry. Well, what do you think? The Royals in Chicago White Sox are in the AL Central. Like the Milwaukee Brewers. Remember, the Royals had a chance to move to the National League many years ago. They chose not to. It would have the Brewers. Is it a forced rivalry with St. Louis now? No, they're just in there, and they're just another counterpart. The Cardinals' rival is the Chicago Cubs and the Kansas City Royals.
When it's not forcing rivalry, but to your point, Cody, it makes the sport feel like
close, attainable.
Like, more people, I think, because genuinely, I think I'm more likely to watch as a casual baseball fan. If you're a casual baseball fan in, I don't know, Tennessee, let's say, and you know that the Yankees are playing the Red Sox more often, maybe I'm more tuned in to watch that game because those teams hate each other. If you're watching the Dodgers play the Padres or the Royals play the Cardinals, like your rivalries help drive sports in a way, especially in sports where people don't watch, like giving people a reason to watch things for the more casual fan. Like all the Royals fans are going to watch the Royals games no matter what, but knowing that it's a rivalry game ups the ante, I think, for a casual person to tune into baseball more than just something else and not paying much attention to it.
Someone, I think they're correct that if they actually went to 32, we probably wouldn't be talking about 5 teams. You'd be asking
4-team divisions,
8 of them, 8. So then you're talking about the Royals, Cardinals. You pair them up together. Would you pair them with
expansion, more playoff teams?
Would you pair them up with the 2 Chicago teams, or would the Major League Baseball say, okay, we'll go Royals, Cardinals, but then it becomes Astros and Rangers in the same? I know in Kansas City we keep saying that, but would you be worried at all that the MLB would say, no, Cubs Cardinals is a bigger rivalry, we're gonna pair them up together instead, if those were the only 2?
I think you'd have to include the Royals though, if we're talking for driving sake, for proximity.
I agree. It's only 4 hours.
The Royals have to be included in it, I think.
Cardinals Cubs are a bigger rivalry,
correct?
But being in the division, playing 11 times a year, it will happen.
What I'm saying is, like, there's no scenario where they're not going to break up the Cubs Cardinals.
No.
So
would the Royals get left out, is what you're saying from that?
Would the Royals get stuck with its Rangers, Astros, Royals, Rockies? You know what I mean? That would suck.
This is where you need Salt Lake.
that would suck bummer if that's the case.
You need Salt Lake because right now on the West Coast time zone, there's Mariners, A's, Giants, Dodgers, Angels, Padres, and then
Diamondbacks are Mountain Time.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, right.
So, like, when you're looking at it, you're like,
Mountain,
if you add in Salt Lake, that's 8. But then the Rockies are just like Rockies are just doing nothing.
See, I wonder if would they just go all the way down I-70 and go Rockies, Royals, Cardinals,
Cubs, Sox,
and then four, only one more.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't think they'd separate them. The only thing that would be amiss on this is if you killed a couple of the natural rivals, which is Cubs, Cardinals, Yankees, Red Sox. You mentioned earlier Orioles, Nationals because they're just so close.
Yeah, those two have to be in the same division.
Those are the ones I don't think you'd. Those might be the only three you don't want to get rid of. The Texas teams really screwed this up because I don't know who to pair them with. I just stick them with the Rays and the Marlins and be in your 4-team division we don't care about.
Yeah.
Because I can't figure out where to put the Texas team.
Someone says Minneapolis is close. They don't think we would get Chicago in this scenario. They'd keep Chicago separate.
It might be.
Royals, Cardinals, Minneapolis, the Twins,
I will say, if
and
it ends
then
up being
who?
Royals,
Then Milwaukee?
Rockies. If it ends up being Royals, Rockies, and the two Texas teams, I'm not interested. I'm not interested
I feel
in
like
the
the
realignment.
Brewers.
That sounds horrible.
If it was the Cardinals and Chicago teams, then I think Milwaukee's got to be included with those teams because Milwaukee's like a 45-minute drive from Chicago. It might even be less than that. It's like right there.
I don't know. Maybe the Royals would be the odd man out.
Bump into each other.
They get stuck with all these bad. It's still good for baseball, even if the Royals end up getting screwed in this.
Is the only Mountain Time team the Colorado Rockies? I think that if the Diamondbacks are Pacific, then the Colorado Rockies are the only
Arizona doesn't recognize daylight savings time. It is sometimes in Pacific time zone. It is sometimes in Mountain time. During the baseball season, it would be in. I don't jump before. I don't remember.
Well, you spring forward, Cody. You spring forward.
Anyways,
so during
you
baseball,
fall back.
So maybe it's Mountain Time during the summertime. Is what you're saying.
It's Mountain Time during a good chunk of the season. It is Pacific Time during the end part of the season, which is a mess.
Yeah.
Damn you, Arizona! Why can't you just follow the normal rules?
Aren't they trying to just eliminate it anyway, or keep it permanent? One of the two.
Yeah, there was some law. I thought.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like at a federal level. Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened with that.
Because it would be tough if the Royals were forced to be.
Whatever
in with
gives
the
me more
Diamondbacks
daylight,
or the
okay?
Rockies.
Whatever gets me to where it's not dark at 5:13. That's what I'm all for. Okay.
It's so hot right now. These last few days, it's untenable to be outside in general. I don't even want to be outside right now. It's too hot. Let's be inside.
It was very cool on Saturday in the 8 hours
It's
out
supposed
of the
to get
soccer
down to the
match.
70s by the end of the week, I think, right?
We'll be in Vegas where it's like 110.
Next week is gonna. Next week's the 70s. This week it'll still be in the 80s. Vegas, we looked at the forecast.
The weekend's nice here.
We fly after the show Wednesday or during the show, kind of Wednesday. We leave at 1 o'clock.
Here.
It'll be 110, but a dry heat in Vegas. But a dry heat. In fairness, we're gonna be inside.
Selfies.
We're gonna be inside most of the time, and then. During our show, and
Circus
then
got a lot of cool stuff to do.
Yeah,
I'll just
stay inside. And now the stadium's swell. I'm still going to go to the pool, but
if you guys don't have a picture hanging out in the pool, then
I will.
Then
I did a video from the pool last year.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do
I'll have a video just for you, Drew. I'll do one of your selfies on Instagram just for you.
Absolutely,
building,
guys.
is what it'll
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, just getting started. Or what did it say?
Let's begin.
Let's begin. That's what I said.
Let's begin the weekend. Yes, come on.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do a daily or a weekly workout selfie?
No, I will not. I will not do any of that.
So that was just a one-off.
Yeah, that was just a one-off.
Okay.
What's up, guys? I'm in the gym. Like this is fun. I'm excited about it.
Is this fun?
No. This is fun.
Was that the apartment gym that you were at, or do you belong to a gym now?
No, that is the apartment gym for right now.
Okay.
That's
yeah. I mean, it's got everything you need.
It's the lane.
Sure.
Yeah.
Binkley would like you to know that he has seen a C-section for what it's worth.
Oh, God.
Did he text you?
He just said, I've seen one. That's exactly how he put it, too, by the way. That could have been for one of his kids being born. I don't know. He didn't tell me the circumstances.
I would think so.
I would hope.
Hey, Binkley, could you let us know?
There's no way Bink
if
is
this was just a random viewing or
no.
like
no.
When your kid was born kind of thing.
No, it has to be.
Sometimes things derail the show in a good way,
So are you guys? Wait, hold on a second. Is this something going to grow legs when Bink joins on Wednesday? Is this actually going to come up?
No, I don't think so. Binkley's going to join us to talk some college football and NFL football on Wednesday at 12:30, which we're looking forward to, obviously. But I don't think that will be a regular part of the conversation. I do, however, like Rob Manfred's idea to regionally align teams, which are unrelated, but also equally as important. I will say, the more we do this map, the more and more the Royals are getting left out in a weird way. That they're going to be stuck with the Texas teams and the Rockies in what will be
That'd be miserable.
That might be the least, people in Colorado don't care about their team. The people in Texas barely care about their teams. And now they both have won World Series in the last decade.
Houston's good.
Hell, in fairness, between the Astros, the Rangers, and the Royals, they got like 3 of the last 5 World Series trophies, maybe.
Yeah.
3 of the last 10, not 5. 3 of the last 10 World Series trophies, probably, right? Royals have one a decade ago. Astros have a couple. Rangers have one.
Mm-hmm.
Responsible for a good
And
shot.
Cardinals don't have anything that matters anytime recently. So,
Cardinals haven't won one since, I don't know, the early 2000s or something. It's like graduating high school.
It's been a bit. Yep. The Yankees have waited a while, too. It's nice. Love it.
The Yankees have waited a lot longer than the Cardinals have.
That's right. It's great. It really is. Cubs have won more recently as well. It's awesome.
Almost every team in baseball has won it more recently than the Yankees at this point.
The Tigers have been in a World Series more recently than the Yankees, correct?
Probably.
In it, yes.
Because obviously the Tigers have never won one, or they haven't won one in a very, very, very long time.
Last pennant for the Cardinals was 2013. Last World Series was 2011. So
almost 15 years.
Honestly, it does bring me every time I see, and this is just like general because like I had to hear for my entire life how much better Cardinals fans were. And I had to go to Kauffman Stadium, in which they showed up to Kauffman Stadium and were by far the dominating party in the stands. And it hurt. It hurt as a Royals fan to have to witness that your entire childhood. Every time I see another headline, I saw one this morning that says, Cardinals GM says, we got to win these fans back. Oh, so it turns out that you weren't the best fans in baseball. You were just winning. And winning attracted you to go to the games. And when Royals fans didn't go to the games, it's because they were losing. And like you weren't any different than any other fan base. You attended when your team was good, like every other fan base of all time. I never blame fans for not going to games when teams are not participating in the winning end. That's,
The Browns might have the best fan base in all sports, just in terms of just
they're loyal,
going through it and still showing up.
No, they're loyal fans for sure.
They do. I don't know why. What have they given you in return for this? Moved your team once?
The one playoff appearance that they had back in 2000 and whatever it was when Chad Henne won the game, or was it?
No, Chad Henne was on.
Henne?
Chad Henne, yeah, Chad Henne was on the Chiefs against Baker, and they beat.
That was right. It was Whenever, whatever year that was.
Dan Sorensen, baby.
Dirty Dan. How will you remember him? I think he'll be remembered more fondly as time goes on.
For sure.
They won't remember all of the issues
all the
or
mistakes.
things that. No, they won't even care about that. You'll remember Dan Sorensen as like a Paul Bunyan character. He'll seem larger than life 15 years from now. You'll just remember him.
A figment of our imagination.
You'll just remember him technically doing helmet to helmet, but knocking the ball out at the goal line.
It's a big play, man.
And
it's a huge
stopping
play.
punts, and you'll just remember all that stuff. Be the opposite. The end. I'm not going to talk. I promise.
Please
for the
don't.
last half hour of the
Please
show,
don't do it.
To not
And
mention
you've
anything
caused the
else.
text line to be a mess.
To not
An
mention
absolute
anything
mess.
else about it for the rest of the show.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk a little more about the Royals and what they did accomplish during the previous 9 games and now what's ahead of them.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Gold, and Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week, 126 ways to win with $6 million guaranteed. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, last the longest to win it all. $15 million guaranteed. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're shopping for an engagement ring, we want you to feel like a kid in a candy store. All of our diamonds are in stock, in-store and online, so you get to use your eyes, not your imagination. Come in and look at marquee-shaped diamonds right next to ovals and pears. As your friend and jeweler, you can trust you'll get your dream diamond at an everyday competitive price. We have the widest selection in-store and at shaneco.com, because a friend knows choosing a diamond is personal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. I thought it would be good to share just a bit about us. My wife, Emily, and I started the company in 2012. We are local, family-owned and operated, middle-sized company. Our industry seems to overpromise and underdeliver. We don't work that way. We have natural limitations, but we do what we say we will, which is enough. We would love to win you over. Call 913 768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropo's Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropo's, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropo's Fordine. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
There it is. It is what's trending. Thank you, Drew. It is Cody and Gold. Number 1 on what's trending. Some injury news, unfortunately, for the Chiefs today. The big one, Felix and Udike Uzama, Andy Reid said, is likely to head to the IR with a hamstring strain. We don't know if it's a grade 3, which would be months, which sounds like it might be. Could it also be a combination of just where things were at? I think there's a lot in it. I don't know if it's just the injury. Who knows? But not good. Obviously sucks for him. And it's very fair to say now, like, he was a first-round bust. He's not going to play this year.
He's going to play 3 years, have 3 total sacks as a guy taken at the end of the first round. We can talk more about it.
Yeah.
It's going to go down probably, if not one of the
him or Speaks
worst picks in Brett Veach's tenure. Now, look, they've continued to go to Super Bowl, so it hasn't affected him. But
sure.
Tough to see that from Felix Anudike-Uzomah today. Next up on What's Trending, Royals sweep the White Sox, get 2 games above 500 after their win late yesterday afternoon. Another come from behind. They had 1 hit through 6 innings of work. Eventually, Jonathan India with a big 2-run blast to tie things up. Then they just keep adding runs. Adam Frazier's been great since he's gotten to Kansas City. They'll take on the Rangers tonight. 4 games set at Kauffman Stadium, starting right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Some other NFL news, though, going back to that, we learned today from Kevin Stefanski that Joe Flacco, the veteran, will be the Week 1 starter for the Cleveland Browns when they take on Drew's Cincinnati Bengals.
All right.
Joe, if you can't beat Joe Flacco.
You said it. I think your number was a little low when you said 4. Over under 7.5 games started for Joe Flacco.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm gonna say under. Actually,
under.
2 months gets us. I said it's got to be cold. It's got to be cold out before Gabriel or Sanders. I'll go over. I think Flacco won't be bad enough that they'll just bail after a month.
I don't think the season will be over after that time either.
I'll go over. Yeah, I'll go half the season basically he gets.
Last on What's Trending, Trey Hendrickson reportedly will be viewed in some trade conversations outside right now, according to the Cincinnati Bengals, who have made no progress in their trade department so far. That according to multiple reports. They're saying they want a first-round pick and a defensive player back. No, non-quarterback over the age of 30 has been traded for a first-round pick since 1994. So they're probably not going to get that if they actually trade him. I will give a lot of credit to Wolf, who is the general manager over there in New England. Elliot Wolf just happened to say that they'd be more than willing
the good Wolf
to part from a first or second round pick if it made this year's team better. They're in a win now thing. I genuinely think what is happening, and Drew agreed with me, so it's probably a good sign, that Cincinnati, because the 4 teams you've heard in the Bengals possible trade market is 4 teams who don't feel like they're going anywhere. I think they're threatening to maroon him. Either take less money from us or we're sending you to a team that is irrelevant this year. And that's a really crazy thing to do for one of your all-time great defensive players.
Some would say Cincinnati is irrelevant this year. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold.
There is nobody more excited about this than one Alex Gold. Like I could.
I love the chaos of an inept organization that is Cincinnati. I absolutely do.
When you said that you're loving the missing the playoffs tweet, I could picture you smiling as you typed it.
I enjoyed seeing the update. I enjoyed seeing the update once again, reinforcing that Cincinnati is a terribly run organization. Yes,
I cannot wait until they make the playoffs this year. I think it'll
fine. Just be a wild card team. Great.
That's
Congratulations.
fine, but they're in the dance. That's all I care about.
Right, fine. That's the barometer now. That's the barometer for a guy that's 1B to 1A, Patrick Mahomes, and that's fine. If that's the barometer, just get to the playoffs. Okay. All right.
Whose championship window his entire career.
Who has to do more than anybody else, apparently, because of the inept ownership, the inept.
Let's start playing the violin again.
Hang on a second. The inept organization and the bad football coach. It must be nice to be the Bills or the Ravens.
And this is why I ask you.
Nice.
That's why I ask you. When Joe Burrow requests a trade in 5 years, will you be a Joe Burrow fan on the new team, or will you still be a Cincinnati fan?
Oh, I'll still be a Joe Burrow fan, but I will. If Joe Burrow's on a different team, I will still root for the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right.
Saying he has to do more than anyone while throwing to Jamar Chase and T.
Higgins.
I am a
poor guy. He's got the best receiver in football to throw the ball to.
Josh Allen, poor guy. He also has the worst O-line where Patrick Mahomes at one point had a great O-line, a great head coach, the greatest head coach of all time, the greatest tight end of all time, and the best wide receiver of all time, and lost to that team as well as
Whoa. Now you're making up stuff. Tyreek Hill, the best wide receiver of all time. Nobody's ever said that.
Hang on, He's one of the 10 best receivers in the NFL at that time.
That was what I meant. That's what I meant.
And they've never had.
That's what I meant.
This is partially just because you're out of the market, so I'll let this one slide. At no point did Kansas City have the best offensive line in football.
Nope.
They had okay offensive lines for portions of it. Lately, they've had as bad. Last year's offensive line for the Chiefs was almost as bad as Cincinnati's.
No, it was not. They had 2 All-Pros.
Their tackle situation
the left tackle situation was not good.
But you also act like Orlando Brown Jr. is is pitiful. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl with Orlando Brown Jr. playing left tackle for them. So that's my biggest pushback on your O-line point is that literally the Chiefs, the Chiefs had the same left tackle and they won a Super Bowl with him. So this idea Mahomes has had to play with a different offensive line compared to Joe Burrow. They've played with the same player a couple times.
All I'm saying is that when we're looking at the excuse making, people should not be letting the Bills get off as much as they are, or the Ravens get off as much as they are.
The
amount of talent that they have, the amount of coaching that they have, and the amount of ownership that actually is cohesive and everything like that. Nobody is talking about them, and it's embarrassing.
You paint Cincinnati like they're the Cleveland Browns, and that's just too far.
Hold on. The Browns roster, if we're, outside of the quarterback room and the wide receiver room.
Oh, those aren't important at all.
Hang on a second. The Browns roster, outside of wide receiver and quarterback, might actually be.
You couldn't even say it with a straight face.
Might actually be better.
I don't believe you.
So again,
I'm not going to, because I don't even think you believe it.
No. The Browns roster.
Okay.
If the Browns had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, forget T. Higgins, they would have at least. If they would have probably been in the playoffs every single year. If the Browns had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, if not, they would have been to a Super Bowl already with that defense.
Can I ask how you
and that O-line?
Can I ask how you are saying this and at the same time keep telling me how their defense is going to get better and they were just missing players?
I think that's
these two things don't equate.
I'm not saying that the Bengals are going to be top 10. I'm not saying they're going to be top 20 even, but based on last season, they are going to have more experience. They're still young in the secondary, but two of their guys were out for the season last year in the middle of the year with injuries. They added 2 linebackers, which they needed to add in the first place. They also added, they can't be worse than what they were last year. They have to be better. I'm not saying it's a huge jump.
Well, they were dead last, so you were correct.
I know. I'm not saying it's going to be
33rd.
I'm not saying it's going to be a huge jump. I'm not going to say any of that stuff.
Okay.
I'm saying they're going to be better. They should be better. And that might be 26, but you know what? 26 would have gotten them last year.
Probably.
And the offense still had moments where the offense didn't perform all the way. They would have been in the playoffs with a 26th ranked defense.
Okay. I pulled a couple Cincinnati Bengals cards I need to give you. You can tell. I can either burn them or give them to you. You decide. Okay.
How do
it's like a Von Bell and a couple Burrow ones. You can have them or I'm burning them. You decide.
All right,
Do you want them? You want them?
Let's talk a little bit about.
Real quick, don't forget we have our Red Roundtable with Mitch Holthus and Dana Hughes coming up on Friday, August 29th out at Hollywood Casino. It starts at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's free, open to the public. You have to be 21 or older to enter there at Hollywood Casino, but it's going to be an awesome Q&A with Mitch and Dana, plus a meet and greet to follow. Hope to see you guys there.
Let's talk a little bit about the Felix Anudike thing today, because with that injury, if he heads to the IR, and if Andy says likely to head to the IR, I think it's pretty safe to assume that he will head to the IR sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. He's going to go down as the worst pick in Brett Veach's career because it was the draft in Kansas City. He was the first round pick, not the 60th pick or whatever Breland Speaks was. And while he will have played a full season more and been on the roster 2 full seasons more technically, even though he's on IR hypothetically, you just can't take a swing like that at a position you needed that much and miss like that and it not go down as your worst pick. The good news is, and this is where I would give Brett Veach a lot of credit, I can go through every team you think is great at drafting teams. I can go through the Ravens. I can go through the Eagles. And if you'd like, I can go find their misses for you. And I can point out the ones that they didn't get right in the first or the second round. The key is that you don't notice it. Felix got drafted 2 years ago. They won a Super Bowl, went to another, and it won't slow them down this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That's you and I over the years we've gone back and forth and at times and disagree. I mean, there's been other picks you and I have argued about, and I'm like, you can find picks in plenty of other organizations.
You can't be critical and say we don't like these picks.
For sure, but plenty of other organizations have whiffed on picks as well.
Yeah.
This one's really bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a first-round pick. I think we've talked about the circumstances around the pick, and so it'll go on Brett Veach's record, no doubt. I think we also recognize there was a ton of organizational pressure to make said pick for Felix. It also put a ton of pressure on Felix himself, but it's the NFL. Like, it's a results-based business. While I hate to see Felix hurt and Andy Reid saying he's likely headed to the IR, the assessment of his tenure is accurate. He's been a bust. That's just the reality. This is the NFL. This is not sugarcoating it. He's not some high school kids. Like, you were paid to perform, and he has not lived up to first-round pick expectations. Heck, he hasn't lived up to second or third-round pick expectations. He could have been picked in the third round. We'd still be saying,
Yeah, if he was here for the third year,
it wouldn't be viewed as the worst pick in the tenure, but we'd be like,
that pick didn't work out.
It would be in the same realm as like some of these other guys we've talked about over the years. But it's disappointing because if they would have hit on this pick like 70% of it, it could have been a huge asset for them to go with Karlaftis and Chris Jones. And instead, it's why I think they've had to bring back Charles Omenihu. It's why Mike Dana, and this is not a bad thing, but with those players, that's why those guys have had to come back. It's why I think next year there's a chance they could still have to spend a first-round pick on a defensive lineman again.
Most years you can get away with that, so it's okay. You'll just need an instant contributor.
Someone says, how do you know they will cut him? Cody's just saying in the 5th year. Like, next year, I think he'll be in camp. They're not picking up his 5th-year option. I agree with you that I think he will.
I think there's a chance he won't be in camp, but
I think he might be in
50-50?
camp. Yeah, I think that he might be in camp next year, but he's not going to be here in year 5. I mean, they're not picking up his 5th-year option. No. I can tell you that.
I think there's at least a 50% chance we've watched the last snap of Felix. And look, I've said this from the Gold can, I guess, back me up. Since the day they drafted him, I think that part of the problem, not the whole problem, part of the problem is that the Chiefs organization put him in a horrible spot. I think Clark Hunt wanted to make the pick at 31, as in, like, he wanted the team to make the pick. Not he personally said, it's Felix or nothing. As in, he wanted the organization to have that organizational moment. Draft in Kansas City, pick at 31, fireworks go off, the moment is pure. Take the local kid, it all feels good. And as a result of that, it put even more pressure on a first-round pick to succeed at 31. It put even more pressure and spotlight on the pick to succeed. And so he was put at a disadvantage, I thought, from day one. He's had now 2 full years to make his standing in the NFL apart from that moment. And so he's had opportunities to show his level of play and the kind of player he can be, and he should do it. It stinks. Honestly, I'm rooting for him to get healthy, find another team, get a fresh start, and hopefully turn himself into a nice NFL player. Happens all the time in the NFL. Sometimes your first stop is not your best stop. And so for him, I hope that that's the case. But yeah, it's weird how much on this show normally for a former first-round pick, like when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was getting hurt in the early part of his career Gold, we were talking about how it affected this team. Hey, now they don't have Clyde, do they, what's the running back room going to look like? Because his first year, you might not remember now, but Clyde was a very effective player for them in the offense. He wasn't a superstar, but he was an effective player in their offense. I don't even know what to say.
It's one play in the Super Bowl and a run play.
They're missing a rotational
That's basically what it was.
They're missing a rotational defensive lineman. It'd be the same as if they lost Malik Herring. I'm not going to spend the entire show talking about how their defense changes now that, if
it
Malik Herring
it's depth. You would like to have depth, but he was also in danger of not making the team. Some of you don't believe that, but he was in danger of maybe not making the roster. If someone's saying who could they have got, who would have been better to get at pick 31 that particular year?
Don't make me go through the draft. Probably lots of players.
Off the top of my head, we'll have to go back and look and see who the multiple players were picked, the 5 guys in front and the 5 guys behind, and we can narrow it down. I mean, quite honestly, normally we joke you can't just say anybody, but when we're talking about a first round bust, honestly, anybody.
Like any player who's not already cut by their team, I guess. I don't and he's not cut, but he's hurt. And he hasn't played much. Felix Ndudike was taken at 31. The picks after that were, Sam Laporte at 34 had been fine, just for starters. Just before I even get down this list very far.
Who else? Give me another name.
That would have been fine. Joey Porter Jr. was taken the pick after. Michael Mayer is serviceable. He hasn't really been much. How's Derek Hall doing in Seattle? The defensive
I don't think he's doing anything.
Jonathan Mingo was Bink's guy. He hasn't done anything, and he's been hurt. BJ Ojulari has been a perfectly good NFL player to this point. I mean, even like Jaden Reed or, they took Rashee Rice later in that draft. And that's the point. You can miss on that just as long as Rashee Rice is a number 1 wide receiver on your team and go through all those other ones. And look, some of the guys have been hurt, unfortunately, but like Tank Dell in the 3rd or a million others. I don't want to go through every pick they could have made because some of these guys, I'll be honest, they're probably good players. I just don't know who they are because they play nose tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if Keanu Benton is good. Drew, is he? That was a guy they took after.
Who?
Keanu?
I have no idea.
Benton.
From Wisconsin?
I don't. Of course he's from Wisconsin. What are the odds?
Yeah, I just disagree with this text. This was my stance when Cody was critical the first year about Felix, and it was like, hey, he's very young and he needs to develop.
The development part.
And I was definitely saying that on this very show. Someone says history has shown 2 years is not enough time to develop. You're a first-round pick, a defensive lineman. You don't get 4 years to develop. Sorry.
He's also losing year 3.
You don't get 3. Yeah, I say 4 because this year's gone. Yeah. He's going to be out. So I hear you. They're not a finished product. And for his sake, I hope he comes back post-injury better than ever and all that. But when you're a first-round pick, you don't get to say you got to give me 3 or 4 years to have a real impact on the team. I'm not saying he needed to come out and be a 10-sack guy in the first 2 years.
No, he had 4.5 sacks last year. We'd be talking about
one thing if he had in year 1 and then 4.5, or 5. Okay, there's some real progress. But a first-round pick, you can't say, I got to give the defensive end 3 or 4 years till he has more than 5 sacks in his career.
That's why you guys said that you were sorry for him, because he was put in a position that was almost impossible for him to unless he became that 10-sack guy. It was always going to be a little bit underwhelming. Just where he was picked, him going to K-State, the local guy, the first round, all of it put together.
I assume if you're in the camp of he hasn't been given enough opportunity, enough time to develop, I'd be honest, I kind of assume you're a K-State fan if that's your stance at this point. Like that you can't see through the lavender-colored glasses. And it's not meant to be a knock. It's just his play on the field has been completely unacceptable to this point. Like, he has not come close to living up to the draft position. And, like, Gold, you're right. I had said last year, and you're right, I was on it early, which maybe that was too early, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. I was worried about his play, didn't like, but like
you didn't like the pick anyway, like just in general.
Yeah, I didn't like the pick. I didn't think they should make the pick. I didn't think he was. I thought he was too developmental. A million reasons why. But none of that. Yeah. I told you last year, I had stopped thinking about him as the 31st overall pick, and instead wanted him to follow a trajectory of Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, and turn into a 4, 5, 6 sack guy, rotational defensive line, impactful. We know the issue. And that would have been fine. I'd have stopped with he was the first round pick. Clark had his moment in the draft stuff because he just became a serviceable player. He didn't hit that level. He didn't get to the serviceable part of the level was the problem. And now the injury is going to set him further back from that to the ability to get there.
Before we get out of here today, I want to talk Royals briefly again. We know they just wrapped up the 9-game stretch. We said at bare minimum they had to go 6-3. Well,
did it?
They went 6-3, a very much needed sweep of the White Sox. Obviously, look, I think it's fair to say the boys are playing some ball right now. Is it enough? No, they got a lot of work to do, but they're playing some ball. They're fun to watch. They got a nice little thing going with a couple guys in the lineup. Jonathan India, since he's been moved down in the order, he's come up with some big-time hits, including the home run yesterday, at the time, I think, to tie the game or whatever it was. A 2-run, 3-run home run? 2-run home run. Yesterday to tie the game.
India's was a 2.
Yeah, to tie the game up at 2 apiece. And they now set themselves up where here we are on August 18th, and we're still talking about them having a chance. So now they enter another 7-game stretch, games against the Rangers starting tonight, and then the Tigers. Okay, bare minimum, 4-3. That has to be bare minimum. You cannot have losing stretches. You're still, unfortunately, 3.5, 4 games back. You have leapfrogged the Rangers. Yep. So now it's a great opportunity. If you win this series against Texas, you can, I don't want to say bury them, but you certainly can distance yourself.
They've got 13 games for the rest of the month. Then it's September. They got 13 games. They need to go 8-5. I'll set a new standard and a new number, and we'll get inside there. Speaking of local kids, by the way, did you see? I missed it earlier. Ben Kudrna is going to pitch in AAA. Got promoted to AAA.
Okay.
So
Sets
another local
year.
kid
That's
moving
good.
up. That does set up for next year as a potential start, but he got a promotion today. So congrats to him. Carter Jensen obviously has been raking in AAA outside of it. But yeah, with the Royals, 8-5 in the next 13. Get to September 1st, 3 more games. That would put you 5 games above 500. We all agree they got to be like 10 games above 500. 5 games above 500 in a month is not outside the lines of capabilities for the Royals. They're playing good baseball. They're playing consistent baseball. 8-5 in the next 13, including the series starting tonight against Texas.
Yeah, text line.
What'd they say?
Doesn't make any sense on this text. Geno Smith got 7 years. Felix needs more time. Okay. Also, he went to a different franchise. So, yes, nobody's saying Felix can never play football in his life.
He went to multiple different franchises.
Went to multiple. Also, much like we always do, is like Tom Brady was also a 7th-round pick. Yes, so you gave me the most outlier of all outliers in Geno Smith over the last 30 years.
They mentioned Baker, too, who also went to multiple organizations. Baker Mayfield might have legitimately saved his career by showing up on 24 hours notice, playing for the Rams, and making a 95 or 8 or whatever it was yard touchdown drive to win them a football game on a Thursday night. He might have single-handedly saved his career because he got on a plane, showed up and balled out for an
But by the way, Geno Smith,